In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Mediocre Road Brothers. I'm Jordan, your host, and the team Corey, Edwin, and Udon. Today we'll be having a chill conversation about ourselves and what we like to do with video games. But before we do, let's go around what we did for the week. Corey, you do it.
I beat the game of the month. So
you held in that laugh for so long. You held it in for the whole intro. I'm proud of you.
No, I beat the game of the month already. It was a lot of fun. Looking forward to kind of talking about it with everybody at the end of the month here, because it was I haven't played it in like 20 years, so it was kind of nice and very surprising. And I believe, Udon, it was your first time playing this game too?
Yeah, it's another first for the monthly game for me. Another well-known franchise that I have never touched.
Yeah. I was playing some Final Fantasy IX earlier, and then I played the Visions of Mana demo, which, we can talk about that a little bit too, because I believe you also played the Visions of Mana demo, Udon, and basically that's pretty much it. I mean, it was I just played the game of the month like damn near start to finish, so it was a lot of fun, and now I can play something else, I guess. I just move on to anything else in the old library. I have my GameCube hooked up, so I was just kind of like trucking around some GameCube games. Evolution Worlds, giving that a go. It's kind of a weird little RPG, but it's like a remake of a Dreamcast one, or a port of a Dreamcast game. 2 Dreamcast games that they put into one game. I don't know. Stylistically, it looks pretty good, but I think it's a little too cheesy, like, for me to kind of get into right now, so I'll probably just go find something else now that I've cleared like Elden Ring's DLC bosses and stuff. So pretty much it. Edwin?
I played so much stuff.
Is that sarcastic?
That's it.
I was going to say, well, that's great.
No, I actually did play quite a bit. So I was like, for a short while, it's like, I was like, I'm slowing down now. So it's like, I've been playing Pokemon Rogue a lot. It's pretty much just a roguelike of constant Pokemon battles, and then you just get as far as you can, and then you just start all over again. But as you're playing the game, you can get like egg vouchers to play like a Pokemon egg gacha game, and then just try and get new Pokemon to start with. Because the beginning of the game, you only start with the 3 starters from every single generation, but you have to pick a team of 3 from all of them. And then as you progress through the game, you can catch new Pokemon to add to your collection that you can pick every time you start a new game. So it just kind of goes up from there. And then I wanted to play Stardew Valley, but I didn't want to play like normally, regardless of the new updates. There's like new things. So I just been trying to find something else to play while I wait for a specific mod that adds a ton of new stuff to the game to finish up. So I just started playing Moonlighter, which is pretty much a Stardew Valley-like game, except you're a merchant, and then you just go in a dungeon and sell whatever you have, whatever you find in that dungeon. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be, but it's still pretty fun. Probably the most annoying part is the fact that you have to figure out how much your stuff is actually worth, and there's like your customers come in and they like have an emotion depending on how expensive or inexpensive your stuff is, and it's just really hard to judge because in the beginning I was wondering, I was like, oh, that's the beginning. I was like, I probably don't have anything like over 50 gold to sell for that much, so I sold everything for like 5, 10s, and 20s, and then I come to find out when I look online, it's like, oh, cool, all that crap is over $100. So.
Well, you made a couple NPCs very happy with your solid deals.
No, yeah, you got them. I need money.
You're running a fantasy Walmart.
Yeah. I was pretty pissed. It was like, this is why I looked shit up, especially for something like this.
You also rebuild the town and stuff, right?
Yeah, it was like, that's why I got mad. It was like, that shit's so expensive.
Yeah.
I could rebuild this town and give people to live, but my profit margin's hurting, so fuck them.
Yeah. No, I played that like when it came out, I think, on Switch, like first came out, so it's been a while, but it was fun. I like the visuals of it and the music and stuff. I think my favorite part, honestly, is actually running the store, because I wanted to make a game like that where you're like a merchant selling stuff, and I just like that part.
There's a lot of indie games that kind of try and do that. I just don't feel like any of them have really hit the bullseye of what that should feel like, I guess.
Yeah, it's really, you need to really get like the micromanaging side of it, because it's like, I don't want to look at a spreadsheet. Spreadsheets aren't fun. I have one right in front of me too.
They are to some people. That's why fucking god damn it, like Total War and all those like really complicated RTSs, which is basically just pop up pop up game, pop up window the game.
Yeah.
I was like searching for a very long while trying to find another game to replace my urge to play Stardew Valley, and so before Moonlighter, I was very tempted to try and get a potion permit, but apparently, according to reviews, it's like very repetitive and it has like a slow gameplay like pretty quickly, so it just gets boring after a while. So it's like, I guess I'm not getting that.
Did you look up like gameplay?
I was like, yeah, well, I mean, they have like gameplay on like the Steam page, so I just looked on there. It's just, and then looked at the reviews. Like, it looks nice, but apparently, it's just like someone called it just like the mining and it's called potion permit, but someone just called it mining and woodcutting permit, because that's pretty much the most of what you do. So it's like, that's a little disappointing. And then just randomly, my friend Alex, he mentioned that there's like some popular Twitch streamer. I don't fucking know who it is. Not that I really care, but apparently to him, there's like Bloodborne got like some type of resurgence there's like everyone started playing it again because of that guy. So it's like he constantly argued with me to try and play it. It's like, so I just played it for a little bit and just up to the cleric beast. I was like, I was surprised at how well I did. I did a lot more parrying than I did before. I don't really do pairing because I suck at it, and I'll just admit to that. But it was like, it was interesting just playing it again. And now I'm just like playing. I'm going back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel because they released a bunch of cards. And now I'm trying to like strength up a water deck that I made before, just trying to spruce it up. But I'm pretty sure that's about it that I've done this week. How are you doing, Udon?
Well, I wanted to talk about it last week because it came in before we did our last episode, but since it was our monthly game, we just skipped right past it. But finally, after about 7 months now, my physical copy of Baldur's Gate 3 finally came in for the PS5. Ordered it back in January and been waiting for it ever since. And I believe Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year when it came out. Everyone loves this game. I really like it too, for the record. I find problems with it that I'm about to make a lot of people mad, that I just don't see people talking about. A good decent chunk of them are subjective, that are only because I have a certain worldview on these things. Some of them are objective. Starting with the subjective stuff, I'm blessed enough, I suppose, to have a regular D&D group that gets together, because uninitiated Baldur's Gate 3 is Dungeons and Dragons for anyone who... But I have, every other week, I have a regular group of D&D people that we get together in person to play, and we do it fairly regularly outside of a few hiccups because people have shit to do. So I play regular D&D quite a lot. I'm the DM of the group. We run a homebrew campaign, mainly sticking to the rules, the homebrew parts, just the setting and the characters that I've created in the story. But that being said, because the nature of D&D is as a tabletop game, and it's essentially playing pretend with just rules, like some rules to give it structure, you can't compete with it on freedom level, freedom of options, freedom of choices, because it's literally just using your imagination. But that being said, I would say Baldur's Gate 3. I can't speak for Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 since they were mainly PC experiences and I never played them. But Baldur's Gate 3, I would say, is probably the closest you're going to get to a D&D experience without actually playing real D&D. It's from the people who made Divinity 2, which is another game that I think is really good, but I just personally cannot bring myself to play because I don't really like the aesthetics of the game. That being said, I was way more into this one, and I'm already 30 hours in, I think. I literally was just playing it an hour ago, and I just got into Act 2 30 hours in. There's lots of stuff in the game, and the people talk about it being, there's a lot of things to do. That is true. But a few like going back to the subjectivity. My point I'm bringing up is that like you can be every class in D&D and Baldur's Gate except for Artificer, which is basically just think of Iron Man but a D&D person. You're like an inventor or a tinkerer. You make machines and stuff. Artificer is not one of them, but you can be any other class that D&D currently has. The problem I have is with the subclasses, because outside of I think of Cleric and Wizard, each class only has 3 available subclasses, and I can just tell you right now, like I'm just looking at my D&D app, my D&D Beyond on my left here, like just the Barbarian class. Like in Baldur's Gate 3, the Barbarian can choose from like Path, like Totem Warrior, which they called it something different in the game, Berserker, and Wild Magic Barbarian. Those are the 3 you can pick from. Just looking at only what I have, only what I have access to, mind you. I don't even have all the books on D&D Beyond, so I don't even have access to all the classes. Just looking at what I can see for subclasses for Barbarian, you have Path of Wild Magic, Path of the Ancestral Guardian, Path of the Battle Rager, Path of the Beast, Path of the Berserker, Path of the Carrion Raven, Path of the Giant, Path of the Juggernaut, Path of the Storm Herald, Path of the Totem Warrior, Path of the Zealot, and Shadow Gnawer. Already that's more than, double what you can do in Baldur's Gate. And that's part of my problem, is that I like a lot of the subclasses that aren't available for the classes in D&D, or in Baldur's Gate. Apart from one, I like Eldritch Knight, which is part of the fighter class, which is basically you're just a martial class. I can hit things, I can shoot bows, and I have access to low tier magic, so I'm basically just Kazuma from Konosuba. But outside, like, and just copy and paste what I just said for every class. Every class is about that amount of subclasses in D&D, and I like those more. Like with the Ranger, I really like Swarmlord, not available in the game. I really like Artificer, but that class just in and of itself is not available in the game. There's some clerics and wizards have a bit better time of it. For whatever reason, they're able to differentiate their subclasses a bit more, but it's probably because they don't have a whole lot different outside of a few spells. But when you're so used to having basically unlimited freedom when it comes to your class builds or subclasses to choose from, because even when you go back to something like the Ranger, your typical hunter, you're not a druid, but you're bow and arrow guy out in the wilderness that communes with nature, and that can even be like altered to where it's not even that you're just like a really good archer that's like a knight in a military or something. Point being is that one of the parts of being a ranger is that you typically have access to a beast companion. You can choose not to, but that's typically what you do. But in Baldur's Gate 3, you have a choice between like bear, wolf, boar, dire raven, like kind of really boring like creatures to choose from. Whereas like in D&D, if I was doing that and I chose to do a Beastmaster Ranger, and I could just look at the DM and be like, hey, can my beast be a raptor? And they can be like, yeah, sure, or sure, but we have to make its own stat line or something. You can just make stuff up on the fly. And going from unlimited imagination to being constrained in this way made it hard for me to get into. I finally got in, not to mention the races, by the way, because they kind of cheaped out. I mean, cheaped out I think is too mean, maybe, but because they can only do so much. If you truly could put everything on the D&D tabletop in a video game, you're a god. There's too much to feasibly put within a video game. It'd be the file size would probably be larger than fucking Warzone. But with like the races, none of the races I liked. My favorite's Eric Cochran, which is the eagle people. Just think Falco, except he has wings on his back instead of its arms. Or a centaur, or Loxodon, like elephant people, and a centaur's a centaur. But you can only be like a human, an elf, orc, a couple more exotic ones like the Githyanki and stuff like that. I just chose Dragonborn because it's the closest thing I'm going to get to a race that I like, so not a whole lot of races available to play as compared to D&D. All of this is subjective. I hold it against the game, but only personally. It doesn't detract from the actual quality of the game. What does, though, is that like I don't like the fucking characters, because the closest game that I've played that's like this is Dragon Age Origins, which it does feel like I'm playing Dragon Age Origins for the first time again, which is nice because I love Dragon Age Origins. But the characters that you get as companions, quite frankly, I don't really care for outside of just a small handful. because a lot of the first ones you find are like everyone's a dickhead to you in this game for like no reason, and it's really off-putting. Like one of the characters like tries to kill you and puts a knife to your throat immediately, and then you can wrestle out of it. It's like, okay, well, how about I trouble you then? It's like, how about if you didn't? It's like you just tried to kill me, and then now you want to be friends? Fuck off. I did find a few NPCs I like, but I mean, I don't want to make this all about Baldur's Gate. But the other thing is, while true to D&D, there are like ability checks in the game. So like when you're having a conversation with someone, sometimes there's an opportunity that comes up. It's like roll a persuasion check to try and persuade them of something, roll an intimidation check to intimidate them, roll a wisdom check to see if you know something, roll an insight check to see if they're lying. And this is done by rolling a d20 in the game with modifiers, how you would in the tabletop game, which is really cool. But it also means that you're at mercy of complete RNG. Because if you are proficient at something, does not mean you are ever going to actually do it. There's always a chance you can fail. But on the opposite side, there's always a chance you could succeed. Like if you're a fighter, but if you're a barbarian and you spec everything into strength and your guys is all about smashing stuff, it's like kick the door down, but it's a strength check. You could just roll a 1 and it doesn't do anything. And you can just continue on with the game and that thing's like locked out to you, or you have to find a workaround, or you can just save scum it like any other video game and just keep reloading your save until you get the roll correctly. And it's really annoying because in Dragon Age Origins and stuff like that, you either have the points to pass those kinds of checks or you don't. It's not a dice roll. And I find that annoying. And yes, that is part of actual D&D. I get it. But at the same time, in D&D, as a DM or whatever, I can fudge dice rolls, or if it's something that serves the narrative. Like if one of my players is like that and they're a big, strong barbarian and they just need to like kick a door down or something, and I make them roll a strength check, and it's like, oh, I rolled a 1 or I rolled a 2 with some modifiers like really low, but outside of like the DC for it, I can be like, you kick it in anyways, or something happens and it kicks in anyways, because it's like realistically that character would be able to kick that door down, but the dice was just being stupid. And I mean, D&D purists might find that, abrasive, but I'm sorry. It's like I do fudge dice rolls if it serves the greater narrative or it makes the players feel better about something that would otherwise logically make sense. I usually let the dice do the talking, but sometimes it's dumb. Because even in the game, in the options, there's a built-in failsafe in the options that makes it to where you cannot fail those checks multiple times in a row because they know it's not fun. You can turn that off and leave yourself completely up to RNG, but like just the fact that there's an option to turn something like that on and off is just acknowledgement that they know that that's not fun for a video game. And I just don't feel like it belongs in a video game setting where you can't change that kind of thing. And it could lead to you like, not to mention, quick note, autosaving sucks. The autosaving barely saves the game, and sometimes when I fail a check like that, it's like I really felt like I should have done that, or I walk into like a combat encounter I wasn't ready for, and I get my shit pushed in. And it's like, oh, well, my last autosave was 3 hours ago. Great. Now I have to. Christ. Yeah, it's like it's not like we can't just do Skyrim and drop an autosave anytime I enter a new area or after I talk to somebody. Like it just randomly just. It's almost like the fucking Halo checkpoint system. It just does it when it feels like it, and it's really aggravating.
That sucks.
Have you ever looked online for like mods to like add things or fix stuff?
Well, I mean, I'm sure there is, but I play it on PS5, so I don't have access to that. Okay. Because, again, I wanted a physical copy because I knew everyone loved this game, and I wanted to get a physical copy, which I got the special edition, which, by the way, if I remember correctly, was just as expensive or just a little bit more expensive than the digital version. And it came with, like, a map and a poster and some stickers and, like, all the soundtrack and shit. It came with all this extra shit. And that being said, I mean, I would like to expound on this more, but we want to talk about other things. Baldur's Gate 3 is a great game. I just have a lot of personal hangups with it, and there are just some hangups about the game in general that I could go into more detail, but we're here to talk about other stuff besides Baldur's Gate 3. The only other thing is that, again, I said it the episode before God of War, but I made it out fairly unscathed with my gacha games through my summer rolls. I got all the characters I wanted without having to spend any money because I've been saving money for like a year, saving for the free currency for like a year. And then during the Japanese version of Fate Grand Order's live stream where they're announcing stuff, they finally announced the release date for the remastered Fate Stay Night visual novel, which I was frothing at the mouth trying to figure out if they had a physical copy of it coming out, and to my great disappointment, they're not having a physical copy. It's only digital, which sucks ass. But they're also releasing the sequel, and why I find that annoying is that this is the first time that this visual novel has been officially translated into English, and they're doing the same thing with the sequel. And I'm hoping when the sequel comes out, Fate Hollow Ataxia or something like that, they're going to bundle it into a physical edition, because they did it with the other two properties they had with Tsukihime. I bought that in a physical edition, and then they had it with Witch on the Holy Night, which I still need to find a physical edition of. But now with the premiere Fate Stay Night, I was really disappointed. I'm hoping that they'll fix that later, but as of right now, I just bought the physical or the digital version on my Switch. It's only $30 too, which is nice. Other than that, that's all I consumed my time. Other than last night, as Corey was saying, I was playing the game of the month for all last night, basically. Before y'all went to bed, I went back to Baldur's Gate.
I was going to say, did you finish it? Because it seemed like you were getting some,
I mean, I beat the helicopter. That's what I stayed up and did. I don't know if that's telling, but I mean, how many games you kill a helicopter?
It's very generic.
Yeah.
Mystical
well, I'm sure.
Helicopter.
Yeah, it's like I'm
You'd
sure
be
that
surprised how many helicopters end up in weird games.
Right. It's like, all right, you at home, figure out which game is going to be the game of the month based off only that information. I got past that part, but then I saved and turned it off. Which I guess, no more telling. But anyways, I think that's about all. I mean, I'm taking up too much time, so yeah, that's about all that's worth talking about for me, anyway. So Jordan, take it away before I keep talking about Baldur's Gate.
I got. I don't know. I think I might be halfway with the game of the month. I think I was ready to start on that, but then I kept talking about it, that damn Wild Arms game. I finally beat it this morning. I kind of pulled an all-nighter last night, screaming myself to sleep, and then it was unfinished. So I was like, I have to beat this game. I've got to get rid of this.
Wake up in the middle of the night just having nightmares, rocking back and forth.
Yeah, I'm just cradle position, just in the corner, just fucking rocking back and forth, just trying to calm myself down.
Dying cat sound effects.
Just, no,
you wake up in a cold sweat. Your wife's like, "What's wrong?" And you're like, "I have to beat it. I have to. Oh, leave me alone."
Yeah, it was definitely montage mode. I was like, like that Predators that do getting this shit ready to go, and then I just lock and load, and then basically what I ended up having to do, which was pretty shitty. I don't know if it's on the same level as you, Udon, with the checkpoint, but I almost feel like it was the same thing. When I was talking about, I was trying to get out of the level that I was in because I was running out of MP, because the amount of shit that they were having you do to accomplish before you could fight the final not boss. There's 3 or 4 of them you got to fight at the very end. But anyways,
it's a JRPG. You're in the boss rush part.
Yeah, so you're like, oh yeah, let's slow you down a lot. So let's do all these things that you need to. Let's get the arm relic. Let's get the eye relic. Let's get the fucking wing relic. All the shit. It's different levels you got to fight. And of course, it's like Pokemon. You're just random encounters all the fucking time. And even if you're using an invisibility spell that's supposed to make you not be seen, you still get seen, and you can't run away no matter what level you were. I was in my level, I think it was level 52, and they were recommended.
I was watching your stream, and they're just you'd run off, and they'd jump after you, and be like, not so fast.
So even though I could kill them in three hits, they're like, no, you still got to deal with me. So I'm like, okay. Enough of it. So I basically did the whole game facts thing. I read the whole thing, followed it line by line until I finally got to where I needed to, because that was the only way I was going to work. I had to basically start my old save maybe 3.5 to 4 hours back when I first started, when I got there, and then just reran through the entirety of it with following the directions to know exactly where I was going, so I wasn't going to waste any time and save as much MP as possible, because I don't know, the game was broken. There was something wrong with it, because when I was going on YouTube to watch that same spot to see how I could basically retrace my steps back, there is no way to physically go back. You have to use the escape spell, and mine's blacked out. It won't let me use it. So even the person's like, oh yeah, and if you want to get out of here, you just click this. And I'm like, I can't. It's grayed out. I can't do anything. And so I'm just like, fuck. And then of course, I kind of figured I was going to get myself into this, which is why I saved 4 different save points because I know one of those eventually is not going to work and I'm going to have to go back however many I need to. And sure enough, I saved one, I think it was my third save back, like 3.5, 4 hours when I first got there. And I reloaded it. And then, like I said, just got in it, read the whole thing, and then eventually got to the whole point. And then you fight the bosses, and I would like to get more into detail, but I was just happy to just be done with it. I was like, skip, done, credits, turn off. I'm happy. So I don't know if I'm going to touch the second one. It kind of seems like I may want to, because it was pretty damn fun beginning and middle, and then when we got to that last ending part where they just fucked you, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
It's too wild for me.
Yeah, that shit's wild as shit. Yeah, that's some wild
all
shit.
These arms.
Hands just flinging all over the place. Just, play, you know. I'm just like, no, I'm good, man. I'm good.
When the arms aren't wild.
Yeah, the tame arms. That's the one I want to play.
Tame arms.
So that's enough about me, anyways. Yeah, that game it gave me a heart attack, and then got myself back.
And you loved it so much that we're going to start playing Wild Arms 2 together. So that's. Yeah. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, you'll be the.
I'm actually going to be playing it. I'm not going to be the Otacon. I'm going to put my PlayStation in, and we'll both be playing it.
And I'll put in my PlayStation as well. So
good. I can listen to you both, bitch.
Yeah. Why are we doing this?
Fucking high five.
To be fair, though, Wild Arms 2 is probably like my favorite in the franchise. I just think the characters are super cool. It like meshed really well with like the age that I was when I was playing that game, because it's like, you know, the edginess type of thing. The main character turns into like a Dark Knight. You know, it's like, it was just super cool to me at like 14.
Well, it was just good that they actually had more backstory than I thought it was. I thought it was just a guy in a trench coat and a girl. I want to be better than this. And then the guy is like, I got a gun. It's like, I thought that's all it was. I was like, this is really stupid. Corey, what the hell?
Dude, why do you need more?
It is very surface level. That is pretty much the whole game, though. She's the girl, I'm going to cut my hair. And the other guy, I saved the town, but they banished me because I got this, and pulls out a pistol. And then the other guy's like, my best friend's a mouse.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I was a good ass knight. I was the best, their best, but then I just put a trench coat on, a hat, and now I'm all cool. So yeah, I was just like, okay, well, it got better, and then like I said, they did that stupid shit at the end that was really just like dropped the whole love for that game. So I'm really hoping that the other Wild Arms kind of learn from that mistake, because again, with every it tends to usually get better because they'll learn from their mistakes. Some don't. That's already been said, but I'm really hoping the Wild Arms series does get better, because maybe people had said shit about that, and maybe they might have taken some notes and made it better.
The intros are fire every time.
Well, the first one is still my favorite intro almost of every RPG I've played. This one is like the best.
That one also has a remake called Altered Code F or something like that, and it's just the first game again, but like with updated graphics and stuff. I think it was on PSP, and then I don't know if there might be another version of it, but I think it's also on PS2.
Why did they just like remake it and then change the name?
I fucking find the name.
What, Silly Hands?
It came out in 2003. And I don't see what console. Oh, it's on PS2.
Could be a licensing problem, because that's how it is with Harvest Moon. It's just called Story of Seasons now, but they've been remaking the old games, but they have to put like instead of Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, it's Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life, and shit like that, because Natsume technically owns the name Harvest Moon. And
A Moderate Life.
A Moderate Life. Slightly better. A High Def Life.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's pretty much all I had on my side. So let's go ahead and jump into polls. So the polls was, what video game genre do you seek out? We had A, RPG, B, shooter, C, RTS, D, fighting, E, flat platforming, and then the winner was RPG. What do y'all think about that?
I mean, it's kind of bang for your buck at that point, you know, like, especially when you're younger and you don't have like income to get games, they tend to just be something that you can play for a long time. Like you just said, you were playing Wild Arms for damn near a month and a half.
Yeah, I think without anything, with the constant backtracking and of course me leaving the game on because I'd be pulled away because of daddy duties, but I think I probably put in like 43 or 44 hours into that game.
Yeah, and that doesn't seem like a lot, but like if you're only playing on like the weekends for a couple hours, that does tend to like span over the course of like a month pretty easy. You know, because like even like Resident Evil, I think I beat it in like 9 hours or 10 hours or something like that. And, that still was me playing it, at multiple days at least. But it's also a survival horror. So if I had to play Resident Evil for 100 hours, it'd probably blow my brains out.
Is your fan on?
My fan? Yeah.
No, it's just some guy going.
I mean, no, it's not that bad. I genuinely thought, I was thinking in my head, I was like, is that his fan or is that like rain? I didn't know which one it was.
I'm feeling sleepy.
I mean, the whole purpose of, when it comes to RPGs, especially because you can't get into like subgenre shit. I mean, RPG is a catch-all term. Like, there's so many games now with RPG mechanics in them because people do like that, and I do agree with Corey in the fact that it's probably a lot to do with just longevity. I seek out RPGs for different reasons, especially because I definitely know I did not play RPGs as a child very much. I was playing other kinds of games, which the whole, it's a casual conversation today, but this is mainly because, spoilers for YouTube sides and stuff, we yeeted the first 3 episodes before we started posting stuff, just pretty much because we were still trying to get our feet on like how we want to talk and stuff. But this is episode basically just going to be like talking about our own personal tastes in games. So when we're giving our opinions on things and our perspectives on stuff, you kind of have a decent idea like who it's coming from, like what kind of like I was saying with God of War stuff. I'm not impressed by action games. Someone else is probably going to find that game a lot more exciting than I would, and I just don't view it as favorably because of that. Just stuff like that, where we, how long we've been gaming and what we did as children leading up to now, and how our tastes have changed and what we look for now and stuff like that. Just a casual thing. Because I know as a kid, the closest thing I ever got to playing RPGs was Pokemon. Because I know as a kid, like, some of my early games are weird because my father had Future Cop LAPD on his computer, and then Age of Empires, which I just kind of taught myself how to play as a kid, probably when I was like 4 or 5. And then my mother had like Tomb Raider on her Macintosh, and I also watched her play that, and I got super into video. And then I didn't get into video games myself until I found the addiction called Pokemon that's followed me into my adulthood. And then that's, my first console, quote unquote, was just a Game Boy Color. I like I said, Pokemon probably the first RPG, but Pokemon's such a light RPG. I don't know when because I'm way more invested in RPGs now, but not necessarily for their longevity. I'm more interested in, I want to see cool worlds. I want to see good characters and good stories. I like stories, right? And that's like, oh, who doesn't like stories? It's like, well, some people don't prioritize stories when they're looking at video games. They just want to play a game, which I can respect because I feel the same way sometimes. I want to play a game where I have like a world to sink my teeth into. Not necessarily super deep lore like Elden Ring, that's fine. You can keep that. But I want more than that, I guess, like lore that's easier to sink my teeth into, that I don't have to go looking up a bunch of item descriptions to piece together. Because as I already mentioned earlier, I love Dragon Age Origins. I love Mass Effect. Mass Effect's one of my favorite series of all time, and it's mainly because of the story and the characters. I love the characters. I prioritize over story, which is again why I also kind of like Fate. Fate has great characters, even though the stories are bunk sometimes. But I just like worlds. I like good world building stuff that seems real, stuff that seems interesting. Because I was having, as Corey said, I tried that Visions of Mana demo, and while I was enjoying the gameplay, again, I'm jumping in. Even though you said, Corey, that those games don't have like a pseudo continuity, and the fact that it's like the same world, but it's not the same. It's not following the same storyline. But me being in that world, I was like, I'm like, it's a demo, so I was thrown in in the middle of everything, so I don't know what's going on or whatever. But just on surface value, it was just like these monsters are all weird and goofy looking, and they just don't seem to have like a lot of cohesiveness to them. I don't know. It was just, maybe it's just me. Maybe taking the game as a whole would solve that problem. But when I'm looking at the game, I was more drawn in by the gameplay than being like, I'm interested in the characters and the world, even though it's it's a JRPG. That's the whole kind of the point. But I was just like, I would play this just because I like hitting stuff. It's fun, I guess. I like the dragon girl, I guess, and the cat demon prince is never gonna be my sleep paralysis demon for the rest of my life. But
that's kind of how I felt for when I played Dragon Quest XI for the first time.
What, you like the gameplay?
Yeah, it was like all the enemies were like really weird looking, but it's like I like the main character, the hero, and then like
Just Trunks.
yeah,
As Trunks.
It's like all the non-human characters were really weird. Like all the monsters were goofy looking, or just straight up weird. It's like I don't know how someone can come up with this. And then all the magic just had weird names. I never knew what any of them were. Especially the one called Thwack, which was an instant kill, but I didn't know until it actually insta-killed one of my characters near the end of the game. I'm just like, oh, that's what it fucking does. And of course, I find out at the very end of the game on the toughest boss.
I knew that from Smash Brothers.
I mean, I played before Ultimate came out, and I was like, I just like, well, I was like, now I know what that does when it shows up on the menu when playing the hero.
I mean, I agree with you. I don't understand why that move isn't just called like Shine, fucking just death or something. It's almost called Thwack. It's like you hit someone with like a frying pan or something.
Yeah. Those games too are very like strange to kind of jump in with no context because like you played like Final Fantasy or you're like more mainline RPGs that you've seen with like cool monster designs and they're just like crazy big scary monsters, and then you pop that game in and it's just like some doofy like monkey with little wings and you're like, what?
Well, I mean, I think it's like I'm okay with like a few creatures being like kind of goofy because I think Final Fantasy's kind of does this. Like most of the monsters I see in Final Fantasy, from what little I've played of them, seem to fit. And then you have something like the cactus thing. Then I'm just like, okay, that's a weird looking one, whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah, Cactuar.
But then like I look at like Mass Effect and like Dragon Age, stuff like that. Even Elder Scrolls does a pretty good job of just like being on model, so to speak, of just like everything looks like it's supposed to be in that world. It's very cohesive. It seems real, I guess. I appreciate the like. I guess I find the best games and universes that I like are the ones that I could like daydream about, like maybe write a fan fiction on or something. Just like, so, you could write a story based in that world, based on like all the information you've garnered from either the game or the books that go with it or something. Have enough lore and world building to realistically understand how the universe and how the powers and everything works and the dynamics of like all the powers and factions in those universes work together in like a way that you can make a cohesive story that makes sense using all those strengths to your advantage to make something interesting. I mean, on the other hand, I do very much enjoy games where it's like, I got 30 minutes, what can I play? It's like popping, Vampire Survivors or something like that. Cause I think I remember one of my favorite games on the Game Boy was Pokemon Pinball, and that's all it was. It was just a pinball machine with Pokemon, but it was good just to slap in and play it for 30 minutes or something. You're just on a real quick trip somewhere, just play a little Pokemon Pinball. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was doing with Fortnite. If I was just like, oh, I got like 20 minutes, I'm just going to do a round, and then like just turn on, mindless, walk around, shoot things, die, and then be like, all right, that was 20 minutes.
And that was 20 minutes wasted.
And then it's like I'm not gonna I don't want to turn on Final Fantasy 9 for 20 minutes because it's like I'm not gonna get anything done. So like for the most part, if I'm gonna play like an RPG, I want to make sure that I have at least like an hour to like kind of really dive into it.
Well, yeah, especially ones that are story heavy, because it's like, oh crap, I'm in a cutscene. When is this going to end? I need to go to bed or whatever. I need to make dinner. And I can't pause the cutscene.
the classic. I need to find a damn save point.
Yeah, that's. I mean, if I can save anywhere in a game, I might play a bigger game a little bit at a time. But yeah, it's I don't have a lot of time during like the week after work, so typically I would like get home and as I'm cooking dinner. I mean, that's why I like my gacha games that can be just played in bite-sized pieces every day. You're not really committed unless I'm playing Fate and I'm doing some story node that's taking way too fucking long with the story. Either that or just like I like games like Rogue Legacy, Vampire Survivors, Slay the Spire. All those. I like roguelikes a lot because that like genre embodies that whole kind of sense. It's like, I'm gonna do a run real quick, see how far I can get, and then I'll die, and I'll keep doing what I'm doing. It took like 30 minutes or whatever. Can backfire though if you're having a particularly good run and you can't stop, and you're like, fuck, I'm so powerful, but I gotta keep going, but I have other shit to do. I wasn't expecting, I'm like Plankton. It's like I didn't think I'd get this far. Yeah, I don't know what to do now.
Yeah, I kind of do that with Metroidvania games.
I mean, it's like I literally had that sensation with Pokemon Rogue. It was like I got the farthest I've ever gotten, which was like 165 constant battles. I'm just like, I gotta fucking stop.
I have to stop.
Yeah, it was like my team was so powerful and I was wrecking everything, but it's just like eventually I got to a point where it's just like a particularly difficult trainer that you had to fight. But it's just like I could continue or I could just stop and start over. But it's like I give up. It was like I'm just gonna stop right here. There's nothing more for me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like I feel like it's like, it's going so well, but just let me die. I'll do it again some other time. I mean, when I think about games that I like, I've been thinking about it more lately since I don't buy a whole lot of new games, just here and there. Obviously, I mean, Baldur's Gate counts, I guess, but that's just because I bought that a while ago and it just came in recently. I like stories, so I do like RPGs, but I don't like them being too involved, I guess. A lot of people, like, for example, a lot of people kind of hated how they kind of toned down the armor, like the equipment system from the first Mass Effect to 2 and back into 3. They kind of like removed the stats from the equipment and it all became about like the little skill trees and stuff. I kind of like that. I just like simple level up systems that don't get too intricate. As I say that, I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3, which multi-classing and all this other crap in it. But worlds that I can sink my teeth into. I like RTSs because I like armies, RTS real-time strategy games. I don't go as far as Total War. Total War is too much for me. I don't like too much micromanaging. The most I'll do is Civilization, and I think it's like 5 is the only one I really like playing, and then Revolution, which is a watered-down version of it anyways. And as I've said many times, I like playing Advance Wars, which is just like a Game Boy version of all that stuff. I like controlling armies. I like strategy. As I've said before, I don't think very fast, so playing games that allow me to analyze each move I make and just like making the most of everything that I can do within a turn or something or within a time limit, I just tend to like more. I don't like twitch reflex things. I played a bunch of Souls-like games that require a lot of reactions, and again, it's probably why I don't like action games that much. Just having to make split-second reactions. I'm okay at like rhythm games that kind of require that, but only like for whatever reason, only the Miku games, the Miku fucking rhythm games, I'm only good at those because I tried playing Hi-Fi Rush the other day and I tried making sure it was like calibrated properly, but for the life of me, I could not attack on the beat and I don't understand why. I either have no rhythm or I just suck at it.
Hello, everyone.
Corey,
what was that?
The fuck was that?
It was a video because I'm watching gameplay.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Yeah, as soon as
It's Hi-Fi Rush or what?
No, I was just looking through some like other Metroidvania games or whatever.
So that
some weird game
Miku thing, that's an actual game stuff. That's what that is.
To explain the concept of Miku to you, Miku is basically Vocaloid is the band or the program. Miku herself is just like is a computer program. It's not an anime. It's not an anime or a game specifically. They do have, or even a manga or anything. Miku herself is just like the mascot for to add to my knowledge. I could be speaking out my ass because I did look this up, but it was a long time ago. Miku is a computer program that like people can feed music stuff into. Like, I don't know how music works. I'm not a music guy. Make beats and music to, and then like somehow I guess get some kind of recording of a voice, because if you can't sing, this is how you make music with someone that can sing, because it's an artificial AI voice that you do feed. I believe you have to have some kind of real voice just so the AI knows like what the tone of the voice is supposed to sound like. But then Miku herself is the thing that is the computer program that sings it, and they have a couple versions that are different characters with different like age ranges of voices, and some of them can even sing in English like Luca. But Miku is just kind of like a concept, and they have games that are rhythm games that have all that music in them that you just, it's like any other rhythm game. You just hit the buttons and stuff to the sound of the beat and rhythm and shit like that. I know that was probably really confusing, but Miku's kind of a confusing concept. Just take it. She's an AI. She's an AI singer. She's an AI, pop idol, essentially.
I'm just saying that because on YouTube, my kids, they hear a song that says Miku thing, and then they just keep saying it. So I was like, what is that? And so you just brought that up. I was like, is that like game. What the hell is that? Because it's weird. But yeah.
Well, I don't know what kids are watching on YouTube nowadays, but I don't know if Miku has some other meaning. There's something else called Miku, but Miku to me is just an AI girl computer program that sings music or sings songs. Essentially, that's the really short answer for that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that I don't know how better to explain that really. Well, Corey, since your computer wants to speak, how about you tell us what games you like and how you got around to liking games and what do you typically look for in games nowadays?
I started basically playing just platformers, Mega Man X, stuff like that. I've been a really big fan of the Mega Man games for a while, and then I started getting into RPGs because I would play them with my dad. And he would play Final Fantasy 2, and I would just kind of watch, and it was really cool because it's a fantasy story, and I was always kind of into that stuff. And then eventually, it's oh well, maybe I'll turn it on and give it a go. And then it's oh, you get to name the characters. It's really kind of neat, and then they level up. And so I've just kind of started grabbing everything that was PlayStation 1 era of JRPGs is the golden years for that. And it was they resonate very well because a lot of the times JRPGs have the anime trope of the young hero who's saving the world, and it's just kind of the hero's usually the same age as me at that time, and it was just this fun adventure. And growing up in Alaska, since it's long cold winters, it's what else am I going to do? So the other part of it too was it takes a while to beat one, so you can run through a platformer, and if it's not that good, you probably won't play it again. Whereas there's games what was it, King of Dragons, Turtles in Time. Those games have endless replayability that me and Jordan would play all the time. Joe and Mac, we would play those games a lot. But when it was just me, I would like to dive into a world and kind of it's almost like you're playing the anime, really. And so it's
especially when you play one Thousand Arms that you showed me, where it's there's a lot of in-game anime cutscenes and shit like that.
Yeah, and that was really cool too. But those games, I just liked it because I like the fantasy world, the magic, the leveling up. And then I get really kind of particular about level up systems because I don't know when this happened, but it seems over the years, JRPGs have been getting way overdeveloped concepts of leveling up and stuff, and I'm just that's too many stat bars and too many things to keep track of. So I still
too
like
much
them.
Armor or too much stat lines or something like that.
It'll be some sort of alchemy mini game mixed with you got to craft all this and sell this, go farm this, and it's just this. I don't know. It's too many things because I don't do side quests for the most part. I'll do them if I feel it's worth my time, but I don't go out of my way to really kind of do side quests. And so there's parts of games now that are main mechanics that.
No.
Huh?
He's starting to waver. Yeah. It's not too bad. He cut out twice there in really quick succession a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just
stat lines.
It was a hiccup. Yeah, stat lines.
You didn't spec into connectivity.
Yeah, it's like keeping track of just farming. It's just game padding to me. So I get kind of I like going back and playing older PS1 RPGs because it's a little bit more simplified. Because the modern ones now, there's some good ones out there. I like Vision of Mana. That video is probably the one I'm using for this episode in general because I just played through the whole demo. But that one's not overly complicated. But those games are pretty much entry level RPG adventures, anyways. They're just kind of still experiences that do kind of have a challenge. The gameplay is pretty fun. But when you look at some other games like the Shin Megami Tensei franchise, they're pretty fun, but it's also kind of Pokemon-ish. It's dark themed, and there's just a bunch of things swapping monsters around and blending them so that you have new monsters and stuff. And it's just the games that their main quest takes 100 hours to get through. Normally that's an Atlas game in general, but
yeah.
It's I don't want to do that, if that makes any sense. I put 80 hours in Final Fantasy VII, but I was also enjoying playing it, and so those are 80 like organic hours rather than like, I'm almost done with this game. I played an RPG on the Wii, which is kind of notorious for having bad voice acting, called Arc Rise Fantasia, and I was like waiting for it to be over. But I'm playing it and I'm just like, where the hell is the end? It's like, I'm this far, I don't want to just stop playing it, but it just felt like the end was, going to take forever. But
that's a trope that happens in RPGs that, I mean, not in every RPG, but often enough that I've noticed it. I really hate it when it feels like it's like, let's just say you have to go get, the magic MacGuffin or McMuffin, whatever you prefer, to go destroy the evil bad, and you go get the thing, and then you bring it back to the village, and it's like, I got the McMuffin, and then it's just like something happens to like have the McMuffin destroyed or like thrown away from you. It's like, oh no, now we have another 40 hours of gameplay before you can actually face the big bad because just suddenly something happened and fucked everything up. It's like, great. Like the last like 60 hours of my life was pointless.
Yeah, the weird part is like Dragon Quest XI does that, where it hides like the other half of the game behind credits, which I thought I was done, and then I was watching a video, I was like, what boss is this? And then I saw like somebody was like, yeah, I can't believe you have to just load your save again, and then it just starts like the rest of the game, and I'm like, what? But the upside,
like 3 times.
Like the upside is I like playing Dragon Quest XI, so like I was like, oh sweet, more game. Like I was kind of sad like that I was at the end, and then it was like, oh, there's like 40 something more hours of shit to do.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm also like I play a lot of action games, so those ones are just for quick pickup and plays, so I can turn my brain off. Because like an RPG, obviously you got to pay attention to like the story and stuff, and not that that's like difficult to do, but sometimes I just want to like just play something. And like you're saying with roguelikes and stuff like that, like I'll play like a round of Fortnite. I used to play like Call of Duty a lot, but the games are like 200 gigs, and I'm not putting that on my freaking hard drive just so I can play the free mode. So I'll play, Devil May Cry or God of War or something that I can just pop it on, play it for 30 minutes, beat a level, save it, and then go do something else.
Oh, yeah, sometimes even if I don't have time, I'm with you there. I'm just like, I don't feel like using my brain and psychoanalyzing everything that's happening with the story and characters. I just want to hit something and I just go play something mindless.
But I tend to gravitate towards like RPGs in general just because of like the bang for the buck. I know it's a bigger game because some of these things that come out and it's like, and we're not trying to do it like a game of the month. Obviously, we're trying to beat Resident Evil as fast as we can so that we can kind of, bring our notes together and talk about it. But when I buy a brand new game for $70 and it's like done in 6 hours and I, wasn't expecting it, I just kind of was having a lot of fun and now it's over. It's like, damn it.
Aw. I mean, I kind of felt the same way. I mean, I had this problem where I'd like, especially with RPGs, I had this problem. Like I would play them until I know I'm about to beat them, and then like just stop playing them because I don't want the game to end. And I'll just like I'd stop playing them because I don't want the game to end, but in doing so I'm not playing the game that I don't want to end. Because like when I first played Persona 5, I stopped like right before the last part of the game, and then I just didn't play it for like 2 years until my someone I knew finally convinced me to like go back and play it. And I eventually was like, oh, I don't want it to end, and it was a really good ending. And I was like, oh, now it's over. But I guess I beat the game.
The heroes are just staring at the final boss, like, oh, I'm going to kick your ass when he gets back.
they get back, they're just sitting around like playing checkers or something.
Well, it's like the other thing too, and I know this is kind of like a controversial take, but like I don't mind that RPGs are going to be like they're kind of stepping away from the turn-based stuff and going to like they're trying to be more appealing to people that are more approachable, because some people just don't like turn-based combat. I don't mind. Like I play a lot of stuff in general. I think the only thing I don't really play is sports games unless it's like Mario. But like I play racing games too. But like an RPG, not having like an action combat system, like people got so mad about Final Fantasy VII Remake because they're like, oh, it's just an action game, or Final Fantasy 16, it's just an action game. But like, I'm over here going, fuck yeah, these combos are awesome. And, I mean, it keeps me engaged, is all, and that's why I like that part. But I mean, it's just a natural evolution of Final Fantasy anyways, because they always change their battle system with each installment. So It's just like trying out a new system. But unfortunately, I would imagine that like it'll stay an action-based game moving forward because of the way that like landed with people. Whereas some people change their gameplay and then you like it and they never go back to it anyways because they're like, oh, that's the first one or the second one. Now we're doing this dumb thing, and then everybody's like, why did you change? Why'd you change?
You've changed, man. I mean, I'm kind of on the opposite angle from you from that, honestly. And it's not just because I like turn-based better, because it allows me to, make decisions a bit more carefully. Because Visions of Mana, as I said, I do like the gameplay, and that is an action RPG combat sort of thing. Like when you encounter monsters, there's like a ring around you that you can't leave, like the battle zone, but it's all real-time combat. I did like it, but as I was saying to you, part of the weakness of that system is that, like, granted, you did tell me afterwards something that might have changed my mind about it a little bit, but in those AI, like, it's kind of like, Edwin will know what I'm talking about, like with how Kingdom Hearts works, where it's like you only control Sora, and then Donald and Goofy just kind of do whatever, and you just have to hope to God they do the thing you want them to do.
That's you can kind of like change how they fight, but it's like very specific like details. But it's I get what you're saying. They're just like pretty stupid. Like it was literally recommended in a guide for critical mode, the hardest mode you can play Kingdom Hearts as. It was like, dude, just completely forget that Donald and Goofy even exist. They're gonna die every single fight. Just focus only on yourself.
Yeah, and that's part of my issue, because like I feel like in turn-based I get to like be more intimate with all the characters, like knowing their skills and leveling up in a specific way. But then just like having the AI just being like, Satan, take the wheel, and hoping they do the right thing. Because as Edwin said, I know there's two games that I've played prior to this that have action combat that I kind of liked. One I really liked, one I kind of liked, and that was Final Fantasy Zodiac Age, whichever one that was, I don't know.
12.
12. That had that combat system, and then Xenoblade 2 has action combat. But Xenoblade 2 has a bit more control, at least, and like when I was playing Visions of Mana, my point being is that your AI companions just run around and do whatever you want. In those games, you typically do have some kind of system, because I think it's called like the Gambit system in Final Fantasy 12. Yeah. But so it's like just really, the most basic bitch, like quote unquote programming for the AI. It's like, if health below 50%, cast cure on me. And you put that in like an order priority of a bunch of other like commands that you want them to do. The problem being, you still have to hope to God that's what they do. And I'm not paying attention to them, so they're just like running around doing whatever they want. Whereas like I have intimate control over each character in a turn-based setting. And Xenoblade has a bit better in that aspect, because while they're whatever they want, they when their super move is charged, you can tell who does what, so you can set off combos in a certain way that you want to do. And I think, and as you said in Visions of Mana, you can switch the character, which was part of my issue. So it's cool that you can switch characters and control, change which one you're controlling, but it still doesn't change the aspect that, your partners are just AIs running around, where I'm not in the fight. I'm not paying any attention to them. I'm only paying attention to what I'm doing, And when I'm low on health, I'm just like, please heal me, please heal me, please heal me, please God heal me. So I don't really care for that. And I can see, but the thing is, I think there's a coexistence, right? Because I don't think Xenoblade has ever. I've only played Xenoblade 2 because I'm a simp for Pyra and Mithra, and I have no desire to play 1 or 2 because Pyra and Mithra aren't in those games. I think that game has always been action-based combat, I believe.
It kind of has like a weird macro system.
It does, but my point being is that it's always been that way. And then, so let's say they suddenly come out with like Xenoblade 4, and it's like, now we're doing turn-based. Everyone's going to be like, the fuck, why? It's like, I play this because I like the action combat. So I can see why people would probably be annoyed if Final Fantasy changed it that heavily, because it really does change how you play the game, going from a turn-based system to a real-time battle system, because it takes away not a lot of it, but some of the, longer strategy aspects to more reactionary things to how things are going, and you don't have full control over everybody. So It does. I mean, and I guess on the flip side, yeah, you don't have control over everyone, so that means there's less to manage, right? So you only have to worry about what you're doing. So
Yeah.
that's technically an upside for those people who want that. I just don't want that. I need to control everybody. I don't remember. I think in the original Persona 3, you don't have control over your AI teammates. I think, at least that's what I saw. I haven't played the original in a long time, but in the remake, you have full control. And it's like, this is what I need. I need to be able to tell them what to do and how, so the strategy can actually work instead of the AI just running rogue and doing whatever the fuck it wants.
You're at full health. Cure.
Yeah, it's like, cure me. It's like, great, you just wasted mana, you fucking twat.
Those potions are expensive.
Yeah, I mean, and for the little time I played, Kingdom Hearts, it was the same thing. It's like, oh, I'm low on health. I better run away until Donald decides that I'm worthy of life today.
It's like, I'm out of mana. I just kept casting Thunder.
Yeah. It's like, you are the healer. I cannot be the healer. You are the healer.
Yeah, I think Final Fantasy, I enjoyed 15. I know a lot of people, that's like the first one that they started with that full action thing, and the boy band one with the car. The car I didn't really give a shit about too much, but like the world in itself, I thought the game was...
Backstreet Boys Simulator?
I just called it like Sasuke and Green Day on an adventure.
Yeah, basically. I think the game itself was kind of neat, but like I wasn't really a big fan of the way that you level up, because you gain experience and then you have to go sleep and then you can spend the experience. So that was like a complete exploit that I just farmed like a million experience, and then I went to the bonus house that gives you like times 10 or whatever if you spend more money. And so it's like, well, I just went from level 10 to 60. The rest of this game's going to be freaking easy.
That's how I fucking felt playing Xenoblade. Xenoblade 2 I did beat, but it was one of those games that I played a lot of, and then I dropped for like 2 or 3 years and before I came back and finished it. And I forgot how leveling up worked in that game. So I was fighting all the shit and doing all this stuff. I'm like, why haven't I leveled up? Why haven't I leveled up? And I just don't understand why. And then I realized that there is a mechanic in that game where you have to like sleep at an inn to get like the vast majority of experience you're going to get. So I did the same thing. I was like, because I was in the last part, I'm like, why am I having so much trouble? I've been grinding for hours, and I fucking go back and sleep, and it's like, oh, I've just gained like 20 levels. There we go.
I did that in Grandia. God, this is so annoying. Grandia 2, there's like a skill eggs. You like mix magic eggs or something, and then like you get stuff. I totally just like ignored that tutorial when they were talking about it. I was like, yeah, whatever. And I just forgot. And so I'm like, man, when the fuck is my character going to learn a new move? I was like at the end of the game. And then I was like, I got all these dumb coins and stuff. What do I use this for? And I was like, oh my God, I can buy my specials. And then so I'm like, I just like bought every move in the game in one sitting. I was like, damn it, I could have been I was just struggle busting that whole game with base attacks. I'm like, I'm level 80. Why do I not have anything other than like jump slash? And so finally it's like, oh, God, I feel stupid as hell.
I was playing against the game. Got
it. Yeah. It's like, damn it. But to be fair, though, Grandia does have like probably one of the best turn-based. It's like active turn-based.
I do like those because I think I said this before. I really like how Paper Mario does it, where it's like it is turn-based, but there's usually like a QTE or something to like do the move better. And my friend really likes this game, but Legend of Dragoon does the same thing, where like all the moves are like button combos and shit to do more damage.
Yeah, Gust of Wind dance. Yeah, you got to hear them say their move 100,000 times. Where it's just whatever it is, the Gust of Wind dance thing just makes me laugh because I just remember playing it and that character using that combo and just hearing him say it like thousands of times.
I remember when I was just sitting at home one day and I was playing Fate Grand Order. I was just opening lottery boxes from an event, and it takes a really long time if you're a fucking fanatic like I am and farmed way more than you probably should have. And I knew my friends were next door playing Legend of Dragoon. I went over there and I was just opening the boxes so I could just have people to talk to. I was doing something boring, and I'm seeing them. I don't know who the character was. There's like a monk guy, so he like punches and kicks. Like his
the purple
like,
guy.
Hey. He's like, hey. Like, how many times you had to press that fucking button for one move? I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's an interesting combat system, but it's like constantly.
Yeah,
because if you don't perform the combo, then you don't do the max damage, and it's just like
And you have to do, like, and how, like, you level up the moves separately. It seems like you have to do a move a bunch of times over to like upgrade its combo. But then the combo gets longer, and yes, it does do more damage. But now there's more shit to do every time you want to do that combo.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting the way that we've like seen all the different battle systems. Like Grandia, I think, has one of the best active turn-based battle systems because it shows the enemies and when they're going to go. And then you can see like the range at which to hit them, so it knocks them back and stuff like that. So it kind of it helps you plan ahead of like, oh, the boss is actually going to do this super move because it's taken a slow time to charge and stuff like that. But a really interesting one is Legend of Legaia, because it's like combo inputs for like martial arts stuff, and if you put in the right combo, like a fighting game, it'll be like a Hadouken or something. So he'll be like, you learned a new art, and then like he'll do like a super move. And it's really cool, and there's no game out there that has ever replicated that I've seen, at least. There might be one, maybe an indie game somewhere, but like I like that combat system a lot, and there's only 2 games in the franchise, and then it just kind of disappeared.
It makes me sad.
Yeah, it is a very kind of bland game, though, as far as like visuals go.
I'm surprised you didn't like mention anything about Octopath.
Oh yeah, I love the visual style of Octopath. I actually like that style in general.
Yeah, the
like
2.5D pixel art, I love it so much. It looks so nice.
Yeah, I mean, I just most recent game that's in that style that I was playing was the Star Ocean 2 one, and like it was really like pretty game. And being that I beat that game when it came out like a long time ago, it was nice to like replay it, and it's that visual style, because it's like, oh man, like there's more of the town modeled and stuff instead of it being like pre-rendered backgrounds. You're actually getting to walk around the cities now, so it's like, oh, this is really fun.
Yeah. Jordan, how about you give us a little background on yourself and your gaming expertise? Where does it stem from? What do you play now?
So I kind of have a little bit of, I don't know, I get a little bit of taste of everything. Most likely from my childhood, I started off Super Nintendo. It was basically playing platformers like Corey was talking about, Mega Man X and all that stuff. So I was getting myself just playing around with simple games that didn't really require much, I guess, intelligence. You just go from left side to right, and then you fight. It's just, dealing with stress, but you just get through those, and you can play those endlessly. And then it eventually came to the point where I got a PlayStation for my birthday. I think I was 5 or 6 years old at the time, I believe. And the first game I got was Tekken, and so that's a
hell of a game to get for your first one.
Yeah, so I got that and was playing that, fell in love with it. Even though if you go back and you look at the visuals of what it is right now, they got like giant hands and a big head and a little weird body. It looks funny because this is all polygons.
Yeah,
I remember Sonic.
It's an entire person made up of about 6 polygons.
Yeah, the music was awesome, but that's where I kind of started to see my calling, which was that specifically. I know I do like fighting games, but in particular, it's definitely got to be the Tekken series, because that was just something I was always playing with. I was always playing as the
Who do you play?
King. I always played as King.
Hell yes! Virtual high five.
Yeah, so that's what I was always rolling around with, and then I guess my parents were playing a little bit of things themselves. My father, he used to actually was playing an old PC back then, was playing like Might and Magic and some other, I forgot what other kind of game he was playing, but he was kind of like the RPG guy. So it was
Wizards and Warriors.
Yeah, and then this is the old type of PC games where the strategy guide had an actual mapping system in it, like a picture, because literally you would only be able to get through the levels by remembering where you went, because it was really hard to explain. But you would click forward on your keyboard, and you would just slowly move forward, and then you turn right, and it automatically turns to like you're on the right side of the screen, and you're going that direction. So you're always got a front visual view, so you can't really tell where you're going unless you have a map. So this whole book would be basically every single level mapping, so you could proceed forward and go through and play it. And it was pretty cool because they had all the different enemies. They had leeches, they had vampires, all that kind of stuff that you played. You get to be a knight, a lord, a samurai, a ninja, a hobbit, a fairy, all these different classes, and you would roll, and how good your roll was going to determine what kind of class you were going to get. And the samurai and the lord, and I forgot someone else. It's a really hard roll. Like, you have to keep rolling and rolling in character creation to get your character if you really wanted it. And my dad was
like ninja or something.
Yeah, ninja.
I remember.
Yeah,
because they're first-person dungeon crawlers. I guess it's a weird resurgence of those in like Japanese games because there's some like classic like anime style RPGs that adopt that same play style now, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's coming back. But yeah, Dad used to play that all the time because we would come over there because they would play that game together, and then we were just playing Tekken. Yep.
And then I was actually getting because after I had gotten through that, and like I said, I went up through the Tekken series. I was I kept myself away from JRPGs or just RPGs in general, just because it was just, I myself didn't have a strong, I guess, patience when it came to just reading and playing step by step by step. I was more in the action based, everything moving and going. So it wasn't until I got later on to where I started wanting to play RPGs myself, and then I actually started seeing myself really enjoy them, because it was just like, yeah, they were very heavily story based and it was cool. Shooter games I never really got I never got connected with, just because I suck at them. I've never gotten good at them. I've played so many of the Call of Duties and I just cannot do that shit. I cannot hit anybody. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much time I put into it. It just doesn't work out. But
don't worry, it just gets worse.
It just gets worse.
But yeah, it was just like I fell in love with the Final Fantasy series. I know that they're like, it's just like the typical JRPG out there that like a lot of people know about, but it was just one for me specifically, and it was only a couple of them. I didn't play every single one of them. I only played a couple of them. But like 6, I liked the music. I liked the character story in it. The 7, I liked the music, and the characters were very, just really good. I just really enjoyed it, and that's why I was happy that they came out with that new one that they had just pushed out with Rebirth and all that. But the 10 was the most strongest one to me. I just liked the character design as well as the summons and all that shit. It was a really heavy hitter for me. And then I started, try to push out a little bit further to see exactly what other interests I have, and I haven't really found much. It's been really hard for me to determine really what really works well with me, just because, again, in my situation, it's like finding the time to do stuff. So I'm always trying to find things that are extremely easy to pick up. So yeah, like I'm not really into the games that have so much shit that you choose from and so much ways to level up and so much ways to acquire an item or something. I'm just not into that. I want it just to be simple. Like, pick your character, you have a story, you know what the story is, you move forward. It's a very simple attack system, and yet you can level up, and you know that you're going to be constantly progressing as you're leveling up. It rewards you, so you're not going to be, I'm a level 50 or I'm level 80 or whatever, and I'm still getting my ass whooped by just everything out there. And it's just like, okay, so why am I playing this? Why am I leveling up, basically? There's no point in it, because I'm still in the same spot I was when I was a level 30. So why? So as long as I'm seeing the progression make sense and I'm actually feeling like I'm being rewarded for it, that's what I'll tend to say that I enjoy most of. But the thing for me that I've actually felt very comfortable with, that I think that with the time that I put in, has kind of came back to, like, say I could pick it back up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I still got it. And that would be, like I said, the Tekken fighting series.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't Tekken for me, but there was a point in my life I was playing. I played a lot of like fighting games, like kind of the weird ones, because I think we mentioned it before. I played. I really like the War of Monsters. That was a fun fighting game. Yep. Big like open arena area. It was kind of goofy. It was like a bunch of like totally not copyrighted versions of movie monsters and other shit that you played as. I like that. I really like the Godzilla fighting games for a lot of my favorites. I like Godzilla Melee on the GameCube, and then Godzilla Saves the Earth. Those were fun. And then the only like hardcore, I mean, not counting Smash Brothers. Oh, the only other like hardcore fighting game I got into was Mortal Kombat. I didn't get into Tekken too much. I just know whenever I play Tekken, I'm just like, I play as King because he has a cheetah head.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. That's exactly what my thought was. Ooh, Tiger Man. I like Leopard Tiger Man.
To this day, I still don't know if it's a man or he's just a Tiger Man. Either way, he just decides to communicate and roars.
Yeah, I liked playing as the Raptor.
Well, that was
Alex and
Tekken.
Roger.
That was
It was Alex and Roger. Yeah, they both had boxing gloves. Alex had blue boxing gloves. Roger was a kangaroo, and he had red boxing gloves.
There was another fighting game with a raptor in it that wasn't Killer Instinct.
Killer Instinct. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys are wrong. I was like, what? I was like, no, you're talking about Killer Instinct. Right?
Yeah.
No, it's weird because it's only in Tekken 3, I think, and then maybe Tekken Tag.
He's in Tekken 2, and you have to get him a very Gon is in Tekken 3. He's that little lizard dude.
Yeah, Gon's that weird guest fighter that's like from some sort of cartoon or whatever.
Yeah, well, Tekken
on stuff.
In Tekken 2 was the funny thing I still remember because this is the one that I had gotten my parents involved to play it because there's a very particular way that you can only acquire Alex. You can get, I believe, in order to get Roger and Alex, you had to do a particular way, and it was basically you would get to, I think there was 9 different fights that you do within in the game, and on the 7th fight, you have to have a two-sided battle that you got 2 lives, you got 2 lives. And so basically what ends up happening is on the first fight, you have to get a perfect. You have to kill him immediately without being touched. And I think in the second match, you have to have yourself with just less than a quarter of life left, and then you have to then begin beating them up and then you have to beat them. And then once you do that on stage 9, I think it is, you will actually, instead of fighting a regular character, you will fight or encounter Alex or Roger, and then if you beat them, then you get them as a character. It was so fucking hard. So I was just like, had my mom and dad do it, and I fell asleep, and I remember I fell asleep, handed them the controller, I woke up in the morning, and they were still in front of the TV, and then they were like, hey, I got you Roger and Alex, so I was like, oh yeah, but that was like the cool mom and dad moment for me, because I was like, oh my god, hell yeah, I got my character, after they just like pulled an all-nighter to try to fucking figure out how to get him, and they finally did.
I did it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fucking nuts. But
it's weird because like that franchise is still going strong, and then one that I used to play a lot was Soul Calibur. And I don't know. It's just kind of like
I do play
off.
a lot of Soul Calibur. I never owned one, but I remember my friend had it at his house, and every time I was over there, he played a lot of Soul Calibur. I like playing Nightmare.
I had the one with Link. That was, I think, Soul Calibur 2.
What was the Soul Calibur one, Corey, that you and me played like fucking for? Oh, it was like a whole entire day straight. It was like the one you did, like to go up this camp, and you guys are fighting, and you're going. I
think that's Soul Calibur 3, and that's still today the longest play session I have had on a game.
We made it.
When I realized how much time I had left to make it to 48 hours straight, I was like, I'm going to do it. And I was tired as hell. I was just on no-dose and like Volt energy drink or whatever. And
it's a shame we didn't have gamer subs back then.
Yeah. And I was just playing Soul Calibur 3, trying to unlock every character, making my own characters, playing that mini game with like Cervantes. We kept making the jokes about him telling you too late, and it was like this cool, like it was such a cool mini game because I didn't even play like the main thing. Whatever that mini game was in that, I was like, I love whatever this is.
Well, we made a character named Captain Poop, and then that's when we started beating everyone's ass. Like that's how we did it.
Yeah, I forgot that his name was Captain Poop. Yeah, because we made him stupid, and then he was like actually winning fights, and it's like, holy crap, guy's out here.
Yeah, I think he had Raphael. What was it? The rapier guy's style. So we made him look like kind of like Cervantes, but he had Raphael's style, so he was like really fast.
Yeah. And then I made the Tonfa's chick. I made like a Jesus or whatever, and then I had like
the future is sad or some shit he would say or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, I weep for the future or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is really funny and on character. But yeah, that game was super fun. And then I don't even think I've played a single game longer than that play session, and I was just having a good ass time.
Between you two, you both say that your parents had I said it a little bit too, but Corey, I know your dad is still into gaming because you said at one point, he's like, he plays Genshin Impact. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's playing Genshin and Honkai Star Rail.
Yeah, like your dad plays modern stuff, and then, Jordan, you just said your parents even help you unlock characters because you wanted them to help you. Mine was like horrible analogy, but it was more just like they only kept gateway drugs around the house, nothing hardcore. I had to find that shit myself.
In reference to video games.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said horrible analogy, but it gets the point across.
I had a rough childhood, ecstasy and cocaine everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I know my dad still plays. Still plays Animal
He plays
Crossing.
Skyrim.
He plays a lot of Skyrim, but he plays.
Well, at least
he plays Animal Crossing. He likes that.
Well,
too.
he plays something. The point I was trying to get as my parents, they played. They had Tomb Raider, and Age of Empires, and Future Cop LAPD around. But after I started playing games, it's like they never touched them. Like very rarely as I was growing up, my mother would play something really easy with me. I would play like Harvest Moon or like Animal Crossing with her, something like really easy that she can wrap her head around. When I was really young, I used to play Super Mario World with her at occasions, but we both sucked at it, so we never made it that far. My father never really, after some stuff on the computer, because I have a vague memory. He might have played Diablo on the computer, but that was just a vague memory I have of like of something that looked like Diablo, and I just didn't know what it was at the time. But looking back on it, I'm pretty sure it was. But then I don't think I've ever seen him pick up a game until like way later on in life when I had my Xbox 360 and I got Alien vs. Predator on there. Really underrated game, by the way. That game's great. Movies, questionable. Game's pretty fun. Except for when you're playing as a human, because that shit sucks. The game literally cheats.
The multiplayer mode for that was really cool.
Yeah, well, the multiplayer is cool. When I say you're playing as a human, you can't play on the hardest difficulty because if you kill an alien and they're too close to you, their blood just instantly kills you every time. So the shotgun is basically just the kill myself gun. So it's terrible. It's awful. The other two campaigns are perfectly doable. Playing as a human's awful. But my father's really into that franchise, so he saw me playing. He's like, I want to try playing that. I was like, sure, go ahead. I tried to explain it to him because it's like a first-person shooter. I was just like a train wreck watching him trying to like use the controller to like aim and move at the same time. I'm just like, stop, please, stop playing. I can't watch this. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I only got this. My parents just had a few games around. They never got into it. I just took the torch and ran with it from there. Yeah. I still very rarely. My mother lives near me, and when I'm hanging out with her, I'll be like, let's pop in Animal Crossing, pop in Harvest Moon, because I still have the GameCube and the GameCube we used to play it on.
There is I feel like Age of Empires is one of those like games that just kind of found its way into everybody's house. Because I have a PC, and that's the game I have on PC.
Though.
I don't. Well, I mean, if you never played an RTS before, sure. But like I said, as a child, I taught myself to play it. Like I knew how to play it better than my father did. He just kind of had it. And I just understood at some point, it was like, oh, the yellow thing is this thing. I click this guy to go get the yellow thing to get more yellow thing because then I use the yellow thing to make a thing. Like, it was just like, I didn't understand what I was gathering half the time. It was like, workers get stuff, and then I make cavemen to go beat people up with a club. And then eventually we upgrade to swords.
Good.
Yeah, because unlike something like Civilization, right? Because as I said, I like RTSs, but I like them when they're kind of simplified. Because Age of Empires and Age of Empires 2, largely it's like you had to keep track of wood, stone, gold, and food. I believe that was it. And you just send villagers out to gather those things on the map, and then other than that, you just have to you have to manage those resources to create your army and then like upgrade your army, and then that's it. You just rinse, repeat, and then you send your army you have to be the last one standing, essentially, outside of like the few other game modes.
I forgot
it's
about
not like
that.
Yeah, it's not like Civilization, right? Because even though I do like Civilization, it's like all the ages and the passives and managing like your monarchy or whatever, whatever government system you have and all these bonuses. Like there's so much to it. And then not to mention, I keep forgetting the name of it. It's not, I keep saying Total War, but Total War is kind of like this, but to a lesser extent. Oh, EU4, that's what it was. Europa Universalis 4, where you literally play the entire world. It's mainly just pop-up simulator, but that my hi Blake, my friend is really into that game, and he tried getting me into it, and the closest I got was downloading a mod that changes all the graphics into anime stuff, but I still couldn't get into it. Because there's just too much. It's too much. Like, it's like if you see like just a picture on half the pop-ups in that game, it's like, oh my god, there's so much shit to keep track of. You are literally running a country at this point.
Getting your pilot license.
Sure in the chat.
Well, yeah,
it's funny 'cause-
it's nutty looking, and some and that's not to say that these games are bad, but and what you're looking at here, Corey, you're looking at some kind of Japanese screenshot, obviously, but this isn't even like a quarter of what you would see in this game. But each one of those different colors, each country, each state, that is a faction you can play as, no matter how small. That's how many different factions there are. Each one of those colors is something different. Each one of them. And that's only a part of the map. But that's I don't do that. I don't have time for that. Those games literally last for weeks and weeks. Like, it's a game you can just play forever. There's a goal, it's just world domination, but you'll probably die of old age before you win.
It just reminds me of Kasen. I remember I had this game on PS2 called Kasen, and it's like a samurai, like feudal historic game that's like a kind of a top-down war sim. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm clicking on shit. They're just moving across the board. I was trying to play it. It was boring me. I fell asleep. I woke up in the morning, and then the game was still going. And then, like, I woke up just in time to see my army lose. And I was like, well, I'm just not going to play this game. I don't like it very much. And then it got a sequel.
Well, I mean, like, my friend, that game's still being updated. Like, it's still supported regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And its defense, how Blake would describe it is that it was it's a game you kind of have on in the background. You just kind of look over, manage your pop-ups every now and again between turns, and just do something else.
Whoa, no nukes.
yeah, it's like, ooh, I'm not dead yet. But when it comes to RTSs, in my opinion, I just want something simple where it's just like, get resources, manage resources, create army with resources, and then fight and then win. That's the really basic, because I like Warcraft 3 too, which is even a simpler version.
That's what I was going to say. Warcraft that was the one I played a shitload of. I didn't play StarCraft too much or whatever.
I mean, I never played StarCraft. It's like one Blizzard game I've never played.
I used to Warcraft 3 was at a friend's house.
I mean, Warcraft 3 was even simpler, right? Because it's literally just gold and wood, and that was it. I mean, it has a bit deeper with combat, because you had, like, the heroes, and they were, like, a big deal with combat, and you had to, like, level them up and stuff. So their combat was a bit deeper than, like, Age of Empires, which is mainly, like, a rock, paper, scissors game of, like, unit types and stuff. But even with Advance Wars, it's even simpler than that. I mean, Advance Wars has some intricacy with its combat, but, like, every turn, depending on the amount of properties you have, you get a certain amount of funds. You use those funds to create units, and they go charge out in battle and fight. And that's it. You capture properties and stuff, and it's really simple. I don't like playing RTSs for super long periods of time. Again, Civilization's about as far as I go, and those games can even last like hours, days, sometimes, depending on how big of a map it is and what you're doing. But yeah, I know not a lot of people here like RTSs, but I prefer the more simplified versions, simpler anyways. I do prefer Civilization Revolution because they cut out a lot of the micromanaging and just get right to the point faster than regular
Rev. My roommates love that game.
I love it too.
Every day.
Yep, I love it. I played on the Xbox, which it starts shitting its pants later into the games when there's too much shit to render, but that was super fun. But let's get our last perspective, and then we just keep going in our casual conversation. So, Edwin, how did you get started with games and stuff? What games do you like? What do you play nowadays? What do you look for?
Tell us.
I was playing games
Philippines.
before I could even talk.
That's it.
That's it.
No, it's my cousin. When she was younger, she was more of a gamer. Now she's just a straight up businesswoman.
Lame. Downgrade.
But it's like, so it's like she brought over a game. Me and my sister have absolutely no idea what game it was. No one knows. Someone probably could tell us, but it was a really old game. To me, it looked like Star Wars Racing or something like that.
Odd Racing?
I guess. I'm not really sure. It could have been like a Wipeout game, but
it was a racing game.
It was a racing game, but it's like we did have a Wipeout game. I'm not sure if it was that one, but we were like too young to like understand what a video game was. But we like just crashing, and we just like crashing our cars because we like seeing the explosion. So that's pretty much all we did with that game. And then my mom, she had an SNES, so that's where the gaming started. We mostly played like Super Mario World, and then tried to play Pilot Wings and things like that. And then afterwards, like it's like where my gaming really happened. It's like the N64 and then the Game Boy. That's where like I started to understand. I was like, oh, this is how fun video games really are, because like it's like Pokemon, like Paper Mario. I've played on the N64. I didn't get too far, but that's because I didn't understand like the RPG aspects. It's funny because later on, when I did go back to Paper Mario, I got even less farther than I did when I was a kid. But now it's like one of my favorite games of all time. It's just the original Paper Mario, which is like I was like, Thousand Year Door is all right, but I still think the first Paper Mario is better.
Mm-hmm.
And now from all
guess which one got a remake?
Yeah, I know. It's like, I mean, I'm not exactly disappointed. The only thing I'm hoping for is that they fix the issues that I had with the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I still plan on getting that remake. So now I'm still playing Pokemon. Obviously, is playing like all like different modded versions of it because I like it that much. And I play pretty much any game that isn't an RTS or a sports games because I hate them and I fucking take full offense to it. I don't care.
You're not offending me. No one here likes sports games. I was just trying to extend an olive branch of understanding in that episode. It's all I wanted to do. Don't shoot the messenger.
No, I said sports game and RTS, and then you guys were talking about RTS for. Like,
I know. I can. Well, I mean, I can fully understand why people would not want to play an RTS. I get it. Like I said, I only play the simplified versions. There's plenty of them that go way farther than I'm willing to go. So
I've always just associated RTS games with like PC gaming, and I'm a console peasant. Like I never had like a computer to play games on as a kid, anyways, because my dad would play on it. So I kind of was play Super Nintendo or whatever because he was always playing Might and Magic or something like that.
That's the funny thing is that a lot of my RTS experience actually has nothing to do with the computer because after a while I lost access to like a decent computer that could even run something as simple as Age of Empires. So it was always the peripheral RTSs like Advance Wars because that was on the Game Boy Advance. So that was just portable, readily accessible. A lot of my gaming growing up was Nintendo related up until I found an Xbox. I found an Xbox, like I found it on the street.
You found it inside the guy's house on his dresser.
Because I even played like the weird one, like they had Age of Empires version on the DS that I played. It wasn't bad either. It wasn't terrible. It was not how regular Age of Empires worked at all, but it wasn't awful. And then Civ Rev was on the console as well, and then Halo Wars was a console one. I didn't really get back into RTSs on the computer until I have the one that I have now as an adult, like an actual gaming rig to where I could play. I built this huge PC to play fucking Overwatch, and now I just play like the first Age of Empires on it or some shit.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to say the point when I brought up the parenting portion between Jordan and Corey, because Jordan, you said you had your parents unlock a character in a game for you. I remember when I was really young and when I was playing Pokemon on the Game Boy. I couldn't read all, like, I was bad at it. Like, I could read some stuff, but not others, and I always woke up at the crack ass of dawn, because between me waking up and whenever my parents woke up, I knew it was, like, free time to just do whatever I wanted until we had to do whatever we had to do that day. So I would just play video games, and I remember I would I had to, like, run upstairs every time I was playing Pokemon, and I was, like, talking to an NPC, and I'd run up, wake my mother up, and be like, what does this say? And, like, she would read it to me. I could, like, as an adult, I'm like, my God, that woman must have had so much fucking patience with me, because I would have punched my kid if I did that to me.
Daddy, can I?
Yeah, shut up. Pikachu's dead. I even remember as a kid, I was just as much as a fucking like cynic when it comes to video games. I remember in the first Red and Blue, like I was fighting a trainer and something had put my Onyx to sleep, and it said he's asleep, but because it's an old ass game, their eyes are still open in the pixel art, and my brain was like, well, why is his eyes open if he says he's asleep? And I even brought it up to my mother. I was like, why? It says it's asleep, but his eyes are open. That doesn't make any sense. She's just like, I don't know. I don't.
Stop bothering me, kid.
Yeah, go.
How did you go to sleep?
My mother was very patient with me. I think at some point she was like, I'll tell you when I get up, go away. It's like, I'll read it later. And I was like, whatever. I don't know how I ever managed to beat Whitney when I was that young, but whatever.
Yeah, it's like the interactions with video games with parents. It's just like because I remember like my mom like watched me do like a bunch of stuff in a video game, and then I'm like explaining all that stuff to her, and then she's trying to understand and like take interest in what I like, but she just doesn't understand it. So it's just like, but over time she understands it more and more, but mostly because I can like tell what's happening better. It's like I'm just better with my words, so it's just like, it's like it still doesn't make any sense because it's absolute nonsense.
Yeah,
unless it's like a more realistic game.
So I mean, after I evolved past just Nintendo properties, that's about when my mother's understanding stopped of it, because Nintendo games are fairly easy to understand. Because she even understands games like Chibi Robo, because I cursed my younger self for getting rid of that game. I'm gonna have to rebuy it, but when I bought Chibi Robo, she understood Chibi Robo. She understood like Pikmin and Mario and stuff like that. She just never played any of them. She couldn't. My mother couldn't keep up with anything that was faster than Animal Crossing or Harvest Moon. Just really, really simple stuff. But she would always show interest. It was nice.
Yeah, my mom really likes Kirby and Mario, so it's like every time we play Smash Brothers, she always picks Kirby, and it's just like, oh god, because she always spams the moves and always tries to eat my character or whatever it might be, and it just like button mashes.
I do remember when I moved past Nintendo games, when I said I got into Xbox, because he always used to be with me. I was like, I had a Game Boy Color, then I got a Game Boy Advance, then I got a Game Boy SP. I never really owned an SNES or an N64. I just kind of borrowed them from family friends we knew. I had a lot of my gaming up until adulthood was portable because they were like cheaper. But I did at one point finally get my hands on an Xbox 360 because I liked Oblivion and Halo a lot. I started realizing there was other games besides Mario, Pikmin, and shit, and Pokemon. And I remember I got the Xbox 360, and I think the first two games, or two or three games, I think I might have just started at two. The first two games I bought, I think, was Elder Scrolls Oblivion and Sonic 06. Were the first two ones I bought for the 360.
There's a range.
Yeah, exactly. It's like one of these is a game, one of these is not. But then eventually I got into Halo, and that's also at the same time when I was looking up on how because I remember I always played, or not played, I always had guidebooks for a lot of the games I had, and I had a Halo 3 guidebook, and I always read about this Xbox Live thing, and I was like, well, how does this work? And it's like, this is like multiplayer, but you're not all in the same room. I don't understand. And then I finally, as a kid, I just figured it all out. I was just like, kid, I was more like probably 11, 10. I was just starting to be a teenager, I think. And I realized how it worked, and I just eventually managed to get everything together for my Xbox 360 to connect to Xbox Live. And that opened up a whole new world of gaming to me. And so then on, my life became about Halo 3 multiplayer. Then it was Halo Reach multiplayer. Then it was Call of Duty 4, and then Call of Duty Black Ops, and Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and Modern Warfare 2. I was all about shooters, all about Xbox Live. I was there in the trenches like everyone else knows about the toxicity of the multiplayer lobbies, but I mean, that was fun. And then, like, even outside those games, all the other games that you could play on Xbox Live, and just the evolution of the whole online space to where nowadays you can barely even think about having your console not connected to the internet.
Yeah.
Online
games were just wild then too. Like, it was such a cool experience.
Well, that was also the time that I kind of dropped single player games for a long time. I was all about competitive multiplayer, all about first person shooters. And then at the same time, when I was off of that, that was also when I kind of, in the same vein of, discovering online gaming, I finally got into World of Warcraft. And I started when if I wasn't playing Halo, that's what I was playing, sort of thing. I was basically bouncing between those two games for years. And then after that, I got into League of Legends, and that was a terrible idea.
There's a genre I don't play. Not that I hate them, I just can't get into it.
Well, I couldn't get into it either. I remember my friend tried to get me to play it. I didn't understand it, so I stopped, and then I ran out of World of Warcraft subscription time and didn't have anything else to do, so I tried it, and just somehow, some way, that second time through, all the lights in my head started clicking on of how the game worked. And I was brought up by the community basically being like, you stupid idiot, why aren't you building this there? And I'm like, sorry, I guess I'll just do that. Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't build the right item. I'm sorry.
A game where your teammates kick you constantly until you get the right shit.
Exactly. I was abused into knowing what I had to do, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to be stupid.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to not understand how the game worked first time. Sorry. But I played League of Legends for years, all the way through high school and into college, where me and Corey met for the first time. And I still played it probably halfway through college before I finally decided to give it up.
It's surprisingly big in college. There was a lot of people playing League on their laptops, like all over the place. And then all of a sudden, I think X and Y came out, and then everyone had a fucking DS.
Yeah, I think that was the only other thing. I think it was between playing League of Legends and then playing like my DS. I would stop and play single. I would still play single player games occasionally because as you're playing League of Legends, it's either that or let your blood pressure get to the point that you're actually going to have an aneurysm and die. So whenever I got too mad at the game, I would go back, and that's when I play. Played other games, and then at that time I also went and visited my father for I go across the country to visit him occasionally during this time period, and when I'm there I can't bring my computer with me, or at least my laptop wasn't. I would either have my laptop or not. Point being, it was harder to play up there, so I would bring my my handheld games. Or I eventually figured out I can bring my Xbox with me, which is when I also found out about Mass Effect and stuff like that is the time period I played those as well. Again, just expanding my repertoire past Nintendo stuff. But then about halfway through college, I dropped League of Legends because I realized how miserable it was making me, and I was doing too much stuff to keep up with being good at that game. So I dropped it and just went back to regular competitive multiplayer to make myself mad. And because that's all it really.
The sky starts to clear.
Yeah. It's the world is beautiful. But I eventually dropped competitive multi. I didn't drop them entirely until after I was out of college and in my own place and stuff. And only recently, within the last couple years, I still play it occasionally. I haven't dropped it entirely. I still would play a game of Fortnite, or if my friends want to play Halo Infinite, I'll play a game. But Overwatch was probably the last vestige of me really playing a competitive multiplayer game. But between my own job and my free time, I just don't have enough time. I don't have enough time or energy to be mad at competitive games anymore and be good at them. So I just dropped it. I'll still play them. In fact, I'm still probably going to try that Marvel Rivals when it comes out because I'm interested, but I just don't put a lot of stock into them. And I also realized I'm really competitive. I get really salty when I lose. One of my worst memories was around college time. I think I was playing Smash Brothers. Someone organized a tournament in the school, and I went there and I got my ass beat in the semifinals. And the person who beat me was a really, really nice guy. He was also just happened to be really, really good at Smash. But then I was really shameful and kind of just stormed off, didn't shake his hand, just kind of left. I was so mad at myself at that. Looking back on it, man, I was a fucking asshole. I don't want to be like that ever again. And it puts me in a bad mood, makes me a bad person really playing competitive games. I just don't touch them anymore. Just raises my blood pressure too damn much. Like I said, play it occasionally when I have friends, but I just don't care about what the outcome is anymore. As long as I don't dedicate myself to playing them, I just don't touch them anymore. But they do compromise a big aspect of my gaming history is competitive games with League and Halo and stuff like that.
Yeah. I used to play competitive Call of Duty 4 a lot. And it was a very loud apartment playing that game.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I was just losing my shit and just I don't know. But when they did the remake of that game, I got back into it and was like, oh, I remember all of this. And it was just weird, the muscle memory of I was good at this game. I'm going to play it some more. And then I'm like, I can't do this. I can't freaking. Because all I sit down, I turn it on, and then I immediately just get mad as fuck.
Exactly. Well, exactly. That was my point too. Is that you get your ass kicked and you get mad, but you can't get good because you don't have time to be good. So you're just going to get your ass kicked and you're going to be mad. And it's just a cycle of self hatred and loathing that I don't want to be a part of anymore. Which is part of the reason I liked Fortnite because it felt really casual. Overwatch used to feel casual when it first came out. Now it's just the most competitive, and that's the other thing. I wish these games were more casual, because like I wish they were more party games. Like I really, honest to God, handheld high, I feel like one of the worst things to happen to competitive games, PvP online, was Major League Gaming. I really think that was one of the worst things that's ever happened to games, because now they're all balanced around pros and all the competitive level shit, and they just make everything not fun anymore. And I hate it. I hate it so much, because they just micromanage, nerf things, and make things unfun. Don't get me wrong. I think, when Overwatch first came out, there was a big hullabaloo because Roadhog's like hook attack, when he can like hook you with his meat hook and like bring him in front of you. He could like do that through time and space, through walls and shit, because of how it was coded. Funny. Oh, it was funny, but don't get me wrong. I think something like that should be fixed. But then like, every time something came out that, God forbid, was able to kill Tracer or Genji, it gets nerfed into the ground. Everyone complains about Brigitte when she came out, that she ruined the game, and I'm just like, no, she made it playable. I know I'm like the only one standing on this hill, and I'm sure people would kill me for saying it. I agree. Her healing needed to probably be nerfed a little bit, but as far as like, being like, oh, she can shield bash, mace hit, and then melee attack, and she kills Tracer. I'm like, well, guess what, dumb bitch? Fucking, she has a melee weapon. Tracer has guns. Just don't get near her. That's the whole point. Don't get near her and you won't fucking die. But because she's
a forward too, so she's like squishy.
Yeah, and I'm just like, you have literal like blinking teleporting abilities, and you have an oops, I fucked up button, and you can just fucking rewind time. No, it's all it is. It's oops, I fucked up, so I get a free do-over because I'm a fucking asshole. I hate Tracer. Hate Tracer, hate Genji, because again, don't think fast. Those fast characters give me a bunch of problems. I loved Brigitte when she came out, and then they nerfed all that to the ground.
I mean, out of all of them, Genji's like the most well-rounded character, so he's technically the most overpowered, but no one would ever admit it because of how basic he is. So it's like, it takes more skill than anything else. So it's just like, yeah, he's good if you're good with him, but then he just becomes overpowered, but it's skill-based. So it's like, no one's gonna fucking take that to heart.
Well, when I was playing multiplayer games like that, I always thought the best design philosophy was just, if everything is broken, nothing is broken. Just make everything dumb and broken, because then it means everything's fun. Because like that's how tight.
That's why it's funny, because I was like, I was looking forward to Overwatch 2 because like, oh, they're adding a story mode or PvE mode. It's like, oh, it's finally going to be a casual game, and then they remove it, and then now that they remove it, you gotta like pay for it. Now they're making the 5v5 a 6v6. So like, oh, now it truly is just Overwatch 1.
Oh my god, I saw like a thumbnail on YouTube. It's like, the road to 6v6. I'm like, oh, the road back to what you used to do? You need a roadmap for that? There's a roadmap for it. Okay, you fucking idiots. I hate it.
Me and Jordan used to go to an internet cafe to play Counter-Strike. That was always fun.
I played Counter-Strike single player on the Xbox.
Oh god, I remember the Xbox version. We would be in this place playing Counter-Strike and whatever, and like it would just be like the right side of the building is on one team and the left side of the building is on another team, and then Jordan would get a kill, and he would just be like, "Yeah, bitch," and I'm like, "Dude, he's sitting right there."
That's when you get up and look at him in the eyes. Yeah, bitch.
You heard me. It was just it would be funny because people, they're just so fucking weird in there. They'd be like screaming and pissed off about it. I was like, Jesus.
Oh, the one kid guy. Oh, that was a different internet cafe because like the internet cafes all talk to each other, but it'd be like this one guy like got attacked with a chair and shit. I'm like, God, you guys are going. Yeah, somebody hit somebody with a keyboard, and I'm like, man, that's how you get banned. Can't you just keep? There would be some really funny moments though playing, because like we would go there with our friend Rick, and Rick would be like, "All right, no opping," and so we would just hear like Jordan giggling, and it's like, Did you buy the damn gun? And he's like, no. And then you just hear it echo through the whole level. And then everybody just buy, because it's a one-shot kill gun no matter where you hit them. And so the rule is don't use it so we can actually rely on skill. And then you just hear this like, you're like, did you just fucking do that? And then it would just turn into everybody has that gun now. And it would just be so funny because it's like the shot heard around the world with that sniper rifle echoing through the stage. And someone's like, did you just buy up, and then everybody would just like do it. Yeah, Counter-Strike, the internet cafe thing was like an interesting culture for sure.
So you guys had a phase of like playing a bunch of online competitive stuff too, or Or do you feel like it was a phase or just something you indulged in every now and again?
Well, I would go to a friend's house to play Counter-Strike because I didn't have like an online computer. I didn't have PC to play PC games like that, and consoles didn't really have like online stuff. I remember my friend had an Xbox, and that was the first time I interacted with like online gaming on a console. And it was with Phantasy Star, and I was like, "Oh shit! You can just send my Phantasy Star character online, get some cool items from people, and then I bring him back to my console at home." And so like that was really cool. But I think the first online game that we played was me and Jordan, and we were playing Time Splitters on PlayStation 2's like hard drive thing. And I just remember like because we were like, man, we're really good at this because we were just fighting the computer. And like I love Time Splitters. I'm so sad that that remake got canned basically, and they had so much done. But like the computers like doing freaking cartwheels and shit, and like we were just putting them on the hardest difficulty and owning, and we were like, yeah, we're so good. And then we finally got like internet, and we were like, oh, let's go online. We'll probably be really good, and we just get our ass kicked constantly. And it's like, oh, the skill gap is very strong here.
That's how it was with me with fighting games a lot. It was like I was better than I was like leagues above all my friends, but in any competitive sense, I would just get destroyed immediately.
Yeah, that happened to me at a freaking Marvel vs. Capcom 3 tournament. I just was like, yeah, I'm pretty good at this. And then we got there, and the guy just like fucking stomps me with Thor, and I'm like, ugh. And they also play with fight sticks. And I played it specifically on PlayStation, and the tournament doesn't have it on PlayStation. They're running it on Xboxes. So I had to use an Xbox 360 controller. Skill issue, but at the same time, it's like, here's something you never used to play this game. Go for it.
Oh, no, it would change your thing entirely. When I played Smash, I couldn't play it on... I wasn't the nerd that kept fucking, refused to let go of the fucking GameCube controller since Melee came out. I would just adapt to whatever the controller scheme was for anything. So...
I have a strong feeling about that damn GameCube controller. I hate that they allowed it to be used constantly because I'm like, bro, you guys made a Pro controller, just support the Pro controller. I know that people want the game, and then they made a specific GameCube controller for the Wii U or something like that.
Yeah,
and it was just like I was like, you guys are selling an actual good controller, but you still are going to go back 2 generations or whatever to this damn GameCube controller because the Melee purists want to use it. And I know that riles some people up, but it's like, I get it.
I mean,
People
I don't mind there
Melee.
being an option to use it. I'm just like, why won't you just... I mean, don't get me wrong, playing Brawl with a Wiimote and nunchuck probably isn't the best thing to do, but I learned it because that's what I had. And then when it came to Smash 4 on the Wii U and the 3DS, I always had to use the 3DS as a controller. I couldn't use anything else. I was just used to using it on the 3DS as a controller, Even now is
a lot of broken analog sticks from that.
Yep.
This fucking Smash circuit at college was wild, too. There were so many players there.
Everyone hated me, and I hated myself.
I also went to a Smash Bros. Tournament for Brawl, and then I trained for 2 weeks with specifically Ike and Toon Link, and I didn't get very far in the tournament. I beat one kid with Toon Link, and then I slightly self-destructed myself in the second fight, so the other person beat me while they were playing Diddy Kong. So I didn't know if I needed to stay for a loser's bracket because they didn't really explain it. There were also a fuck ton of people, so if anyone was explaining anything, I did not hear them. So after that loss, I just left.
I did a Smash Brothers tournament at a play and trade.
Yeah,
I felt so
did.
bad. I won. Yeah, because we did it. I played as I main with Toon Link. Even though I like playing as all the other weird characters, but if it's a serious one, I'll pick Toon Link because I just like him a lot. And I played the guy who was watching me. He's like, I haven't seen anybody play Toon Link like that, and I felt so bad because it's an all ages.
An idiot.
It's an all ages tournament. So the first person I was fighting, I was just fucking destroying this 10-year-old, and I just didn't. I was they're good too, but I was just punishing this kid. I'm like, well, you're out of the tournament, And it's My bad. You know, it's like, sorry, I kicked your kid's ass in front of you. You know, and I feel, you know, it's like, I should have let him win because he's a little kid. But I'm like, no, he's gonna learn something today. But then, like, I got knocked out because of somebody who's playing as Zelda, and I was like, God, they just basically shoved me off the screen up by doing whatever that.
Same thing with me.
The invisible flame.
Yeah, that Zelda player was fucking really good, and I was like, I can't even touch the ground. This fucking blows. It's at least I got killed to a Zelda player rather than a fucking Fox player. Because that or anybody that uses Sonic.
I played. There was a convention nearby when in college time that I went to that had a Smash Brothers tournament for. I think it was Ultimate. It might have been Smash 4. I'm not sure. No, it wasn't Ultimate. Ultimate didn't come out until I was after I was graduated. I don't know. Anyways, Smash Brothers. It was at a convention, and I kind of had a pretty similar story. I signed up for it, and this is also kind of what killed my desire to remain in any kind of competitive sense with games because of how people were acting over there. God, it was the most toxic place in the universe. I sat down in the first round, and I don't main anybody. I main a lot of people, and I guess if any one of my friends was going to tell you I main something, it would be Rob, but it's only because I know Rob infuriates them, so I will just play it sometimes. But I play like a ton of different characters, and it's probably one of my weaknesses is the fact I don't
Duck
just...
Hunt, dog?
Duck Hunt's annoying. I mean, I can play Duck Hunt just to annoy people, but... my point being is that I think I was like, I'm gonna play as Bowser this round, so I just played as Bowser, and this kid comes and sits down, and he was, I want to say he was like 12, 13, he was in his teens somewhere, but he was still on the younger side, and he was cosplaying as Ness, and played Ness. And I'm like, well, that makes sense. But as he was playing, he was just so down on it. Like, this was the first round of the tournament. He was just so down on himself, being like, oh, I'm not very good. Like, he was like sad. Like, I don't know what his problem was or what happened prior to this, but he was so self-deprecating the entire time. It was like he didn't even want to be there or play. I was like, oh, you know, man, it's fine. We're gonna sit down and have fun. I mean, I didn't let him win, but I like
sit down, catch these hands.
But after we were playing, I was like, you know, you did good, man. It's all right. You know, just keep playing. It's fine. You know, you did fine. But then I sat down and waited for the next guy, and he comes and sit down, and he looks at me. He's like, man, that kid really sucked his nest, didn't he? I was like, dude, he was like a kid.
He's like standing right behind him. He's like, that kid really sucked. I hope his parents get in a car accident. You're like,
but I was just like, here's the thing about me. I don't like kids, really. I don't like being around them. They kind of annoy me, right? But even I felt bad. I was like, oh man, I feel bad for that kid. Like, I just have fun. I'm sorry you didn't have fun. I don't know why you're doing this if you're not having fun. But then, like, the next round, I played against... I forgot what he was playing as. I think it might have been a Fire Emblem character. I'm not sure. I just decided to switch to Olimar because I just felt like it. And I didn't get my ass kicked. It was close, but I still lost. But he was like to me, he's like, man, you play a really good Olimar. You know, I was like, thanks, man. I was like, couldn't give that compliment to the fucking kid.
He wasn't playing a good Ness, so he doesn't get a compliment.
Yeah, he's like, I just insult him. It's like, I was like, Jesus Christ.
That's funny.
I was like,
I like playing as Lucas.
I don't like playing as the Earthbound characters at all.
You're going down just like my
fire. BK fire. BK fire. Yeah, I mean that was the first. I mean, I played other Smash tournaments at like the college where I was like consistently second place and everyone fucking hated me for some reason. I don't know why. Because every time I was playing, every time I was losing, they would all cheer for the other person. I never said anything to anyone. I was just public enemy number one for some reason. Maybe because I played Rob. I don't know. But that was like the first and last official tournament I went to, quote unquote official. But I was just like, man, everyone's like toxic as shit in here. I don't want to be here anymore. Just coming insulting that kid when the kid was already down on himself. I was like, man, this is fun, I guess. I don't know. Get out of here.
The kid's handing him the controller and he's just in his face. Boo!
That's what it felt like, man. It's just like, dude, the kid already doesn't think he's gonna win, and he's cosplaying as Ness. He's playing as Ness. It's funny, but it's just like, I'm just like, just play the game, man. Have fun. It's all right. Don't go home, fucking do something you regret. Jesus.
To be fair, nothing is more like just embarrassing than dressing up as the character you're going to play as and then losing.
Like, I mean, I guess, but I mean, fucking, I don't know.
Yeah, again, it's just sportsmanship, right? It's like, just don't be a dick.
It's like, it just means you like the character. I mean, I knew I'm not like, at least with Smash Brothers, I know I can compete in some sense. I'm still not super top tier, but I can still have a chance. But it's just, I don't know.
I remember going to watch my friend at a tournament, and they were playing, what was it? It was that UFC game. And I think, Jordan, you were there. It was Dakota that went to go play.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy, and this is a very similar situation. It was so funny because UFC also has like it's like the toxic, fan base of anything that shows up for whatever it is. And so he's like got the tap out shirt on, his like flat cap on, and he's just like, yeah, man, like UFC everything. And he gets on the sticks, and then Dakota, he's like, hi, he's just super friendly. And then the fight starts, and he knocks him out in the first hit in like 3 seconds. And it's 1 round matches.
What, Dakota or the other guy?
Dakota. Because he just picked Rampage Jackson or whatever, and just like, it was like, ready, go. And he's just like, bop, knocked him out. And the dude was just like, what? And he's just, can we do it again? Can we run it back? He's like, no, I'm sorry, you lost. And because he lost in 3 seconds. And it was like, this is the funniest shit. That dude stormed out of there. It was just so perfect. But, we weren't like, boo!
Yeah. Well, that's why I felt bad when I did the unofficial tournament, right? Because it's like, I was fighting the other guy. He was playing as Yoshi. I already hate that character, but he just completely me, like, I wasn't able to barely hit him, and then he's like, good game, man. And I was just like, grab my controller, just stomped off like a fucking 10-year-old. Like, just some fucking dickhead.
I am very mad.
Yeah, I am very mad. I will be mad for the next day, and then I regretted it later because I realized how shitty that was. I feel shame still when I think about that memory. I don't like that. Part of the reason I don't like competitive games anymore.
Called growth.
Exactly. It's character development.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like that fucking toxic community shit is pretty much like almost the entire reason why I stopped playing Overwatch and Destiny specifically, because like fucking Destiny players take it way too seriously. It's like Destiny is like already convoluted enough, not with just the story, but like the actual gameplay. So it's like you have to spend like 15 to 30 minutes trying to learn what the fuck to do in almost anything. And it's just like no one has any fucking patience because that game is just a huge time waster already. So I can understand the impatience, but it's like it's a team based thing, like similar to Overwatch. But everyone in Overwatch is just like because the thing that bothers me about like skill customizations, like what you said before about people yelling at you in World of Warcraft,
League of Legends.
League of Legends. Yeah. It's like about customization and not doing the right thing. It was like the whole point of those games is to pick what you like, not what is the most efficient. So it's like what pissed me off about like Overwatch is just like everyone's like, why are you playing this character? Play this one. It was like it makes the team better. So it's like that's not really what the point of the game is. You're supposed to play what you want and what you feel fine with.
Well, I agree with you, but the problem is because Overwatch is competitive and MLG has ruined gaming, some characters literally are a detriment to their team because of how weak they are. Don't get me wrong, I completely agree with you. Like I get it, Edwin. I completely agree. I want to play what I want to play. I don't compromise when it comes to playing games like that. But it's like, don't play Pharah because you're just going to get killed because everyone can just pop you out of the air like it's nothing. Then you just don't play Pharah.
I know in like specific situations, it's like better to pick another character, which is why like flexing multiple characters is better. But like I was like, this isn't competitive. This isn't MLG. This is literally just regular quick play.
That's where you're wrong, kiddo. That's where you're wrong.
Well,
everything's serious.
I played a lot of Paladins. There was a time where like I would just, for some reason, it was just like it was Paladins, and then I moved over to PUBG. But when I was playing Paladins, Overwatch type of game, hero shooter, whatever, it'd be like
it's the high res version of a hero shooter.
It's like people would get so pissed if you're like not playing a position and I get it because it's like you're playing a healer, so fucking heal. But like some people, they want to, like if you get on a team of randos and they all pick like a damage dealer because they're like, oh, I want to be the ninja chick, and it's like a whole team of that, and you're just like, oh, we're not winning this. But like that, the toxic like fan base for like meta horrors just kind of invade everything in general. Like it even got into Helldivers at one point where people were kicking you if you didn't have like the right guns, and it's like, I just want to come down here and shoot bugs, man.
Well, that's even funnier because that's just a fucking PvE game. I mean, I guess what Edwin's saying with Destiny, it's a PvE. I mean, it has PvP elements, but I'm pretty sure you were talking about the PvE stuff.
Yeah, we were running raid dungeons and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I hate about these. It's mostly competitive stuff, but now it's starting to bleed over into PvE. It's like, do the right shit so you're not wasting my time. Like, I just want to play the game, man. I just want it to have fun. Yeah. Like, and then the fucking MLG shit, all this meta stuff. It's all about winning. It's all about winning. Don't get me wrong. I get it. Winning is fun. No one's going to argue that. I'm not going to say, oh, haha, I love losing 15 times in a row. Like, I get it. But, like, can I win my way? I don't want to play Mercy every fucking game. I want to play something else sometimes. I want to play Reinhardt, or I don't want to play fucking Orisa.
It's kind of shitty. Like, when I was playing Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, or whatever, competitively, I played that shit for years. And, like, the fan base starts going, like, NoobTube or whatever, getting all pissed. Like, I was learning how to use that thing like a surgeon. Because I would just be like, I'm going to pop this grenade right through that window. And, like, I could do that shit. And then all of a sudden this, like, NoobTube term starts getting thrown around and everybody gets all pissy about it. And it's like, am I supposed to feel shame that I'm still using the NoobTube? Because, I mean, I'm gonna. Like, I'm like, this is how I'm winning, and it's working. And so, like,
well, I remember the fucking... I think it was Modern Warfare 1 or 2. What was it? Like the dual-wielded 1887 akimbo shotgun.
Oh, yeah,
like,
the stupid...
you across the map.
You get the... What is it? The
1887
lever action.
Akimbo shotguns.
Akimbo stat with infinite running, and people would just... That's all the game would be. You load it in, you'd think you were in like some freaking like Mirror's Edge game or whatever, because every damn character's sprinting all over the place with two guns. You die and you don't even know where it came from. And it's just like, oh my god. When you watch the kill cam, it's like, oh, I got killed by a guy who was on the other side of the map, but he jumped out of two windows, ran up the stairs, hooked the door, ran up behind me, blew my head off, jumped out that window, and killed another guy. It's like, what the hell is going on?
Gotta go fast.
Yeah, gotta go fast. That meta was kind of a pain in the ass, because it was just like, oh, this is what everyone is doing now. But like, I always did the, M16 triple shot and NoobTube, and I was, headshots, whatever. It was. Like, I liked that mode, because I also, when I played Halo a lot, I would play SWAT, and,
SWAT's fun.
It's because that's also why I played Counter-Strike, because Counter-Strike, like, a headshot's a headshot. Same thing with Rainbow Six Vegas, and Vegas was a really fun game, to play. And
Vegas was fun.
There's a lot of funny
baby
moments
face
just running around. There was a guy, because you can take a picture with your webcam on your Xbox 360, and it would map that picture to like the character. And I was like, oh, this is going to turn into buttholes very fast. But this guy's gamer tag was Babyface Killer, and it was just a toddler's face on a guy. And I was like, this is the best way to use this. But I remember playing that game and just running around with the Magnum. And just be like, all I have to do is shoot you in the face one time, and that's a kill. And so I would just hide around corners and wait until I see somebody, and then I would just like peek out and pop them. And it was just so much fun to play.
Here's the thing, though, is that like all that shit, like camping, noob tubes, dual wielding 1887 akimbos, I'd rather go back to that time than like current competitive shit now. It just I just feel like it was still more fun because I don't know. I don't know.
Well, at least
it helped bridge.
Go ahead. Sorry, I was just going to say. At least now with people, we all kind of tend to have an okay system of Wi-Fi now. Which back then the internet was extremely slow, and I was figuring that out the wrong way when we were playing. I was playing Quake 3, and the pings would just be so bad that people would just be teleporting, and then you just die, and you're just like, okay, I can't even play this competitive because I don't even have enough internet to make it do what it needs to do. So you're just basically hoping to land party with somebody because that's like the only way it's going to work.
Was that Unreal Championship?
Yeah,
because I loved playing that game too.
Yeah,
there's a lot of shooters.
Yeah, I mean, that's most of what competitive was. That was the big boom of like PvP online was just first-person shooters, and now we've evolved to hero shooters and MOBAs and all this other crap. So
And battle royales.
battle royales, yeah.
Yeah, battle royales just basically become like the
Hentai.
mainstay of like any of this.
Competitive hentai.
Competitive hentai games. It's kind of funny, like where the like the popularity of games is now, because like I remember MTV had like a documentary about like these professional game players and like these underground tournaments, like winning money.
Didn't MTV have? Weren't they the ones that have? What was it? Fuck! What was that like? It was actual. God damn it! What the hell was it called? It was a television
video game.
It was a video game.
Show?
Yeah, what the fuck was G4 or something like that? Yeah, was that MTV or somebody else?
G4 was its own channel, but I think G4.
Oh, was it?
It was before YouTube.
It was on Spike TV or something before.
Oh, okay. I thought it was MTV. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, but yeah, there was like a documentary, and it followed this dude named Fatality, and he was a Quake player, like a professional Quake player, sponsored by Alienware. And I've never seen that kind of stuff. I was like, oh wow, this is really cool. And now it's like this. They got like arenas for League of Legends and shit, and it's like that's kind of crazy to see it like where it was. They were following I think it was Melee. And it was a professional Smash player, and they would do these like tournaments and stuff where they'd go to somebody's house and there'd be like 50 people there. But they really need to work on their acronym because it was Smash Till Dawn, and that's STD. So and it's like, oh, I'm going over to this house with a bunch of people that STD, and it's like, okay, I'm not going. But they were like, they would win tournaments, and they're like, yeah, I did it. I got first, and that's $1,000 check, So I'm gonna, and then like now people are winning like freaking $1 million. They got jerseys and shit, and like
you can go to college for fucking League of Legends now. Like you can go to college and there be a fucking MLG course.
That's so crazy because I would be in school. Like I like Final Fantasy. I got a dragon on my T-shirt, and people are kicking sand in my face. Nerd, and it's like, and now people are like, yeah, I got a full scholarship because I play video games, and it's just like, what happened?
Yeah, I know. I honest to God, I'm sitting there being like, yeah, I'm the nerd, but I'll respect the hell out of more of those people who are actually doing like football and shit. I got a scholarship playing League of Legends. I'm like, wow.
Well, that guy's got a scholarship because he runs fast.
I mean, at least it's active. I don't know. It's not a fucking video game.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just funny because it's like, and the bad part too is like, it's not like every game. I can't just be like, yeah, I'm a professional Bubsy player. I get $2 million a year. Like, it has to be like the game I don't like playing.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you want to join our team? We play trash game here. And it's like, damn it. You guys don't have like a professional single player circuit?
That's called speed running.
Yeah, that's the game's done quick or whatever, the speed running people, which is like such a cool community. It's so weird. They raise so much money for stuff, and like I just like watching them because it's just like, are you kidding me? Like I watched the dude beat like Ocarina of Time in like 40 minutes or whatever, or 15 minutes, and it's just like, what? Obviously, they're exploiting glitches and stuff like that, but those are really fun to watch. I like watching somebody did Morrowind, and there's so specific things that you got to do with like the inventory, and like it triggers like a weird bug because of the programming, but it's like this 15-step process. So it's like a pyramid scheme, and then it teleports you to like the last dungeon or some shit.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how they do in fucking speedrun for Red and Blue. I mean the glitched run, anyways, because I do appreciate the ones they have like categories, like they have like glitched or glitchless or something like that. Yeah. But like for Pokemon Red, you can fuck it up so bad that you are like fucking with the game coding somehow by exploiting menu systems, and to where you just walked into a door and now you're in the last part of the Elite Four in the Hall of Fame with no Pokemon. And it's just you win. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, same thing with Super Mario World. It's just like on the first level, you do like very specific things to make this one coin make you go to the end credits of the whole game. It's just like, that doesn't make any sense.
I wonder if that's like hidden like bug testing stuff that they just left in the game because they didn't think people would find it. Because it's like if you're a game tester and you need to access certain things, you don't want to just like play the whole game until you get to level 30. So there has to be some sort of like thing. But I could be giving them way too
I mean, I can at least speak for I can at least speak for Pokemon Red and Blue. It was not that. It was because that was the guy's first time coding for a game. Was that game, and he just sucked at it. Self-admittedly, by the way, he's just like, yeah, the game's a mess because that was my first time coding.
Can you program? Yeah.
Sure.
Are you gonna be in the room when I'm doing it?
Why do you have a program for dummies on your desk?
Well, I got it for you because I'm the programmer. Clearly. Can you turn to page 38 for me?
Dude, Pokemon, that's why I said I want us to play Red and Blue at some point, somehow, because of how fucked up those games are.
I have an actual copy of the game.
We all have actual copies. The problem is
it
doesn't. You can't save because the batteries are dead.
Yeah.
My Pokemon Red? It's still alive.
No, you can turn it on, but you can't save the game. Try. I dare you.
No, I played it before.
Then you might have. You might have gotten one because all you have to do is replace the watch battery. So you might have gotten a cartridge where the watch battery was replaced, because that's what you need to. Because the games will always play, but it needs that watch battery to be able to save the game, and you can replace it.
Oh, I have no idea. I bought like Pokemon Silver, Blue, Red. I forgot what the other one was, but it's like there was literally like a 10-minute back and forth. It was like, is there a way to know if the batteries inside these are replaced? And then we just kept looking at it. It was like, we don't know. Whether or not you still want to buy it.
Yeah, if it can save, yes. If it doesn't save, because you can save the game and it'll say it's saved, but when you turn it off and turn it back on, it'll just say new game. Yeah. If it does that, your battery's dead. If not, then you're good.
Yeah, my Pokemon Gold is like that. It won't save, and I don't think my Oracle of Ages and Seasons saves either, which kind of blows.
Yeah, because I was lucky. I got all the virtual consoles on the 3DS when they came out for the 3DS. I bought all of them except for I think Blue version. But it doesn't matter.
Oh, that's right. My freaking Hyrule Shield 2DS that I bought. It has all those virtual games on it too. I could just play it there, I guess.
Yeah, that's way easier there, and you can even transfer them because I saved that software. RIP 3DS store.
It's like I heard it was like it's there, but it doesn't work. Entirely.
Oh no, it's there. The only part of it that's still there is if you want to re-download stuff you bought. That's the only thing you can do. You can't buy anything new, but the only thing you can do is re-download things that you have purchased previously. It's the only thing you can do.
I was specifically talking about Pokebank.
Oh no, yeah, it's there. Yeah, it's there, but you can't download it anymore. So you just, if you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't.
Oh,
I saved. Yeah, I saved all the software on mine, so I still have it.
Well, that was bought like a month ago, so it definitely doesn't have that.
Then nowadays I moved past competitive gaming, and now I'm just back to mainly single player stuff. If I do play multiplayer, it's usually cooperative stuff. Deep Rock Galactic, Monster Hunter. We played Phasmophobia, just kind of like party-ish game. Not really party-ish. Just PvE games. I don't like playing guns against other people.
Hypercharge.
Well, I wasn't there for when you guys play Hypercharge.
That game is pretty fun.
It sounds like something fun.
I'm waiting for the Deep Rock to go on sale, but yes,
it is on sale for $10
right now.
Yeah,
it runs off.
Yep. Later.
No! You tried to hide behind an excuse. You go buy it right now. Edwin just caught you.
I mean, I do the same thing. I'll play like Souls-like games, but I give them a try, an honest try. But a lot of them miss the mark. I was playing that one demo yesterday. Death Becomes You or whatever the hell it is, and I was just like, I am not playing this anymore.
I am not having fun.
Yeah, I just don't like the health system and how it kind of punishes you with the stamina and all that crap. The game looks really nice, but I was just like, nah, I'm not a fan.
I have a hard time being impressed by games nowadays, like downgraded from what it used to be, because we've said it before, but it's just all these live service, battle pass, all this crap. It's mainly just the live service thing that bothers me the most, because no one wants to just make a game anymore. And we have backlogs of stuff to play, and it's not not the end all be all. There's still good games coming out that don't subscribe to those things. But I mean, half the reason I'm so into Baldur's Gate, despite my gripes with it, is because it feels like a fucking game. Feels like a good real game with actual content. Yeah, it's $70, but like $70 well spent in my opinion, honestly.
I was playing the Rise of the Ronin game too this week because the demo came out, and I played that demo for maybe like 2.5 hours, and I totally forgot I didn't actually own the game. I was just like running around doing quests and stuff, and it's like, this game's pretty dope. Like, I like Ghost of Tsushima, so like this.
I got that in my backlog
something to kind of I mean, if you got Ghost of Tsushima, then you don't really need to get Rise of the Ronin. It's another open world game.
Gotta
of course,
play that game.
It's really
I know.
Good. It's got what you want, man. It's got the samurai stuff and everything.
I know. That's why I bought it. It's on the PS5. But I was playing Cyberpunk, and then when I was done with Cyberpunk, Elden Ring DLC came out. Then I was done with Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate came in. I can't do everything at once. It's gonna wait.
I feel like you're talking to me like I was that kid that was depressed. You're just trying to calm me down. Like, it's all right, man. I'm gonna get to it, brother.
Listen, Mister the Ghost of Tsushima can go wait in the corner with Geralt in The Witcher 3 because they're both waiting their turn over there in the corner, right?
Man, that's gonna take you forever.
Long time. But it's gonna be fun though.
Listen, I need to finish. I'm finishing the audiobook series first, and then I'm gonna go back and play the game. I love the book series, so I am gonna play it. Just give me time. Oh, I also have Assassins of Kings, the second one that I need to play. I have that sitting on the back burner as well.
Yeah, I got a few modern games that I got to get to. Now that Elden Ring's kind of done, and I got a few stacks of stuff that it's like, oh yeah, I bought this and just set it down.
Well, besides our game of the month, which is let me explore older games that I haven't played. It's just between Baldur's Gate. I'm trying to do Resident Evil 2 because I'm starting to get invested in Resident Evil, which I need to beat before the end of the month, before my Game Pass subscription is up, because I want to beat it and then cancel my subscription because I'm not using it and they're increasing the price and I don't want to pay it. And then after that, go back to Baldur's Gate and Ghost of Tsushima and then Baldur's Gate 3, depending on what comes out between here and then. Not a whole lot from what I think, but we have plans for other monthly games that might interrupt that, but won't talk details on that, but I just don't get excited for modern games anymore. I mean, I just besides Nintendo's probably the only company. I mean, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. Jesus, it's so dramatic. It just not really a victim, but it's just like all the companies that I really, really liked that got me super into a bunch of stories and stuff just all went under, and either between being completely canceled or just becoming a shell of their former selves, right? Because I used to worship the ground Blizzard walked on. I loved World of Warcraft, I loved Overwatch, and then they just started shitting the bed on literally everything, and I hate them now. I boycott them, basically. I will not touch anything they put out, ever. I just watch from the sidelines as they burn. Same thing with BioWare. Fucking, I worship the ground they walk on, but now they're like, new Dragon Age, and I'm just like, it's gonna suck. I don't get me wrong. I would love it if it was fantastic and it was just a return to form and BioWare's back, baby, But the truth of the matter is that no one who worked on the good Mass Effects and Dragon Ages work there anymore. It's an entirely new staff that does all this shit. That's why Inquisition was like, meh. I don't really hate Inquisition, but I don't love it either. But yeah. I'm not excited for anything BioWare does. Xbox as a whole, Halo's gone down the drain. I don't really care for Halo anymore. There are bright spots like Monster Hunter has always been good. Pokemon's starting to go down the drain. I'm hoping they can fucking recover, but after fucking Scarlet and Violet, my hopes are not high. We'll see how, Legend Z does, and then whatever the mainline series is going to be after that. I mean, the Pokemon peripherals are doing fine because I still love playing Pokemon Masters EX on my phone, but I mean, modern gaming just turned a lot of the companies I liked, aside from Nintendo as a whole, because they've still held their ground for the most part. Because while I wouldn't say Pikmin 4 is bad, I wouldn't say it doesn't capture the magic that the other Pikmins had, but it's still a good game. It's not like terrible. It's not like a downgrade compared to how Scarlet and Violet was. And I look to indie games now for like exciting stuff, and very rarely will like a mainline series of something I like actually be worth my time nowadays. That's why I look for newer games that I've ignored, like these older games that we've been playing, like Zelda. Zelda has a huge backlog that I've never touched, so I can go back and play all those that I haven't played, and Ghost of Tsushima and Witcher 3 that have been out for a while that I know are good, and I want to go back and play Baldur's Gate 3, which has been out for years at this point that I'm just now getting around to playing. There's diamonds in the rough. You just have to find the diamonds, but it's not magical as it was as a kid, where it's just like everything was great and fantastic and people tried on their games. It just really sucks when you see something that you've liked as a kid and liked for years just start to take a shit, and you're like, I want this to be good, which is why I'm so critical of it, but it just sucks. Yeah. Same thing with Andromeda. I'm like, I want this to be good. I want to like this game, but I just can't like it. It sucks.
It is a weird, like, and I would like to hear from somebody who's like just kind of hitting their stride with like the gaming world in general, like, whatever, but like being around so like from the beginning of it, pretty much is like I'm more excited in recent years for remakes, which I really kind of wish that like we got more original content and stuff, because the digging in the like treasure trove of stuff in the past, going like, oh, what if we just took this and slapped a new coat of paint on it? But I'm starting to become more excited about remakes than games that are original that are coming out, because the games that they're making now are like they're either playing it safe by making it just kind of like super vanilla so that anybody can play it, so they don't have like an actual target audience because they're trying to get anybody, or it's like a free to play like Money Pit, and it's just kind of like, well, where's all the good games? And it's like, well, those are getting remakes, so you're buying the thing that you have on your shelf right now, but it's for $70 again, even though they kind of are very similar. Like Final Fantasy VII obviously is like a whole different game experience, but it's just a familiar place with familiar characters. But it's weird to be more excited about that than like a brand new game. I have a hard time even thinking of brand new games that I want to get outside of like a Nintendo property, which is kind of crazy. Like, Metroid Prime, they're coming back, and that's cool, because games that I want, Visions of Mana, like I like that franchise, and it's the next installment, so I'm kind of like, oh, this is going to be the first like new game in a while that I got. I'm excited about Zelda, the Wisdom, Echoes of Wisdom or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I'm also excited about Silent Hill getting a remake. I'm getting excited about Metal Gear Solid 3's remake. And it's like, I already have these games, but I want to play those. Yeah, and now they're going to be prettier. And it's like, I can't really pick another mainline game, I guess, that I saw and was like, dope, because here's the problem. Most of those games that are kind of like my target are imitating the game series that I really like playing, which is Dark Souls. And so they're like, another Souls-like. It's like, okay, dude. And then I can just tell by the video that I'm not going to like this.
I know what game you're talking about.
Like, it's just watching the gameplay. I'm like, no, pass. Yeah, if I want to play Dark Souls, that game is designed to be played over and over and over again. So it's like, if I just want to do that, I'll just play it again.
That's why I play. It's like I'll play Scarlet and Violet once, and then I'll just go back and play all the old Pokemon games forever, because that's all I want to play now. Is I can just go back and play. That's why I try. On crusade for physical copies, I want to preserve all the good shit that I can just go back and play when gaming finally decides to erupt in a fiery, hellish explosion of nonsense.
Well, this is the benefit, right, of indie games, is because they don't have to play a $500 million investment safe, and so we get a lot of different like experimental things. And usually they're Metroidvanias in a sense, but I do like Metroidvanias. I literally bought one while we were on this call. I couldn't even tell you what it's called. I just was like, that looks neat.
Go buy Deep Rock Galactic right now.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of Deep Rock Galactic, talk about an experimental game. Like, who does this fucking appeal to? Because like the only thing I can say about it is that it's a cooperative PvE experience, but it's like you play as dwarves in space that go in procedurally generated caves to mine minerals while being attacked by bug creatures. Rinse and repeat forever with different kind of mission types and environments and stuff. Like, I've never seen a game quite like Deep Rock Galactic. I mean, the closest I can compare it to is it's a 4-player PvE game that's like rinse or repeat, play forever sort of thing.
Well, that's like No Man's Sky, right? System?
Oh no, it's a progression. I mean, progression as far as you can get cosmetics, which by the way, cosmetics, and you can, as far as like actual upgrades go, you like grind levels on there's like 4 classes of dwarves you can play as, and you can grind different weapons and different upgrades and mods for your weapons. Like you could like the mods for the weapons are crazy. It completely changes how the guns work and stuff. And so the game is like super customizable and like really fun to play around with friends, especially when you have a full team and everyone's like a different class, because they all work together, work off of each other. So it encourages a lot of cooperation and stuff. Plus the game is really pretty with its art style. Like Deep Rock Galactic is probably one of the best indie games I've played in a while, besides Vampire Survivors, which I can just play forever. Which, by the way, Vampire Survivors on the phone now for free, just the whole game. You don't even have to pay for it. You just get Vampire Survivors. Hours of content right there.
I was like, we need to get Deep Rock Galactic, and you have to get Demio.
Get what?
Demio on... Oh, I just saw that you shared Dear Avenger 2. I forgot about that game.
What?
in the chat.
One of my weird games as a kid that you were just like picked up random PC games.
I thought that was a meme. This is real.
No, this is real. Yeah,
I remember
you're
hunting
hunting deers. You're a deer and you're hunting people.
Oh my god!
You're hunting rednecks.
That sounds like a '90s game.
It's super 90s. It's probably mad cringe, but it would be really funny to like play.
What is it? What is this anime I'm looking at? What is this?
That's the game I bought.
TEVI.
Oh, TEVI. I mean, I like the art style.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
the
like
art
a
style
bullet.
that no one can see right now, so let's stop talking about it.
It's a bullet hell Metroidvania. I like the pick. It kind of reminds me of like a little bit mix of like Cave Story and that Lost Ruins game that I was playing. And I don't know, like I played like Lost Ruins and Dungeon Munchies and stuff, and those games are really fun. I just like the exploration and the pixel art, just because I'm a huge pixel art fan. And it's not imitating Hollow Knight. I don't have anything against Hollow Knight. It's just a lot of the Metroidvanias that people are making in the indie world seem to be trying to replicate Hollow Knight's visual style. So it's like all of them look the same. So when I see like a pixel art game like this, it's like, oh, this is kind of cool.
I think that's another fun thing about indie games because they're not like tied down by like, you know, corporations and stuff. Because part of the reason, like I said at the beginning, I really like characters and stories, and a lot of modern games have like none of each of those, which is why I was super impressed with God of War Ragnarok because they actually gave a shit. But like between character designs where everyone looks like potatoes, both men and women, by the way, it's not just I like hot women, which I do, but I like the guys to look good too. I don't want everyone to look like a fucking potato. Like all these like horrible designs for these characters and all these stories that don't make any fucking sense. They're all stupid and I hate listening to them fucking shit. Nothing makes sense anymore. Again, it's just modern games nowadays. It's just so homogenized. Everything has to be so safe. You can't make it, you know, I'm just piggybacking what Corey said, but I totally agree. It's just like everything has to be super safe because we want everyone to buy this game, but a game made for fucking, you know, everyone is made for nobody, essentially. Just have a target audience and aim for that. Please. Just make a game for somebody rather than for nobody.
Yeah.
One ran by money, the other one ran by passion.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, you feel it, right? I mean, obviously, it's not a catch-all statement. Oh, yeah, Deep Rock Galactic is $10. I will buy that on Steam right now. So I have it on Steam. And we can play it on Steam.
All right.
What? I've only been preaching this for fucking months now. But all I know, fucking go buy fucking, what the fuck is this fucking weeb-ass shit? Fucking TEVI. Yeah, go buy TEVI instead of fucking goddamn Deep Rock Galactic. Fuck.
I'm going to Steam.
Good boy. I swear you'll like it. I swear you will.
I'm going to frown the whole time.
You know what? I'll believe you. But yeah, I mean, yeah, just, I don't know. I still participate in modern gaming, but I'm more like just catching up on gems of the past rather than playing anything that comes out recently that's not a remake or a remaster. Very rarely a new game will catch my attention. Again, I'm pretty much in the same mindset as Corey, is that very rarely there'll be something big and new that comes out that I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. But, yeah, I just don't care.
Yeah, I never played... I don't really play MMOs because I feel like a lot of them are the same, except for one that I've played the absolute hell of. Because, like, there's one session, or, like, multiple sessions, but it's, like, it's just each one is like so close together. Whereas it's Wizard 101. It's like that's the only MMO I actually played consecutively and I actually enjoyed because it was an MMO, but it was simple, so it's not like a million tabs of like, oh, marketplace, oh, inventory, oh, stat bar, and all that stuff. It's like the UI is just overfilled with pop-ups. So it's like it was just simple and it was turn-based. So it was just very enjoyable, and the animations for the attack were really good. It's like constantly being updated visually, but at the time it was like it ran on my computer was the important part. So it's like the longest play session in my entire history of video games is Wizard 101, where it's like I played the game multiple times because it has 7 classes. So it's just like at one point I finally like went around like the entire like school system. So I finally made it to the fire wizard, the pyromancer, and then I just locked myself in for an entire week with 3 sleepless nights. That is all I played, and my mom was so concerned for me. Every time it was like she would say good night, and then she would walk into my room and say good morning. I was like, you haven't slept, did you? I'm like, no. I was like, okay.
I literally did the same thing with fucking World of Warcraft. I would stay up all night just wandering around the world and questing and just again, World of Warcraft, a huge inspiration for me for even trying to go to college for game design was World of Warcraft because I just love the world. I love the world. I love the races. I love the story. I love the classes. Like it was nothing like I ever seen. I loved it. It was so amazing.
And not a fan of the Warcraft. Just the world.
Yeah. Well, I still like, I still played Warcraft 3, but I didn't really understand it till World of Warcraft. But it was just I never really experienced an MMO like an MMO game that was just a huge world to wander around in. Closest I ever got was, I don't know, Oblivion at that point maybe. But it was just so much more to do. But I would just stay up all night playing that shit. Even my friends would come over. They'd be playing Halo, and I'd be in the corner of my laptop playing fucking World of Warcraft, just not doing any, just not like looking up, being like, "Y'all winning? All right, cool. I'm over here."
I mean, I never played.
At least you're participating.
Yeah.
I never played World of Warcraft because I had that subscription-based thing. So I'm just like looking around. It was like World of Warcraft didn't really interest me, but like everyone playing it just like. I took interest in it, but I never wanted to play it because I wanted to play it. It's just like I wanted to see what the hype was about. But it's like it's a subscription system. I was young. I didn't have a job, so it's just like I can't play this. So
trust me, I had to scrape together that $15 a month myself every single month, just somehow doing random chores for people. Some, like an addict. Some months I had to go without because I didn't have that $15 to pay. I'm just like, I just need my fix, man. I just need a little bit of World of Warcraft. You got a little World of Warcraft? I just need a little bit, man.
Scratching, eye twitching.
I was kind of like that. I didn't bring my laptop, and I visited my father, and I went over to my friend's house. I'm like, man, I gotta play World of Warcraft. Can I install it on your computer? I waited all night for the thing to download, and then I played it for 30 minutes. I'm like, all right, thanks for that. Bye. By the way, almost your hard drive's taken up by that. Bye. I have to delete that now.
It was between
done.
It's
good. I'm downloading it now too. It's only 3 gigs. Stop crying.
I was between World of Warcraft and freaking Wizard 101. It's just I was looking around for any MMO that is was free and was more World of Warcraft ish. So it's just I downloaded a bunch of games, and one of them was Terra, which was the more interesting one. But now it's I rarely played it, but now it's a dead game. It doesn't exist.
The D&D one, Neverwinter. That game is fun.
Yeah, you made me play that. I didn't really like it.
I thought it was.
You gotta do it again.
I could probably copy and paste most of my grievances with Neverwinter from what I just said about Baldur's Gate, comparing it to the actual game. But it was also very greedy and microtransaction heavy that I didn't want to get involved with it. So
yeah, but I mean, I am not the player that does that. So I am not the person they really want playing. I'm I like this game. I like it here. They're give us some money. I'm like, nope.
I'm not, because
all the free shit.
If I get too involved into it, I'll be like, oh man, I really want that cool thing. But no.
Yeah, a guy walking by with some crazy super godlike dragon mount with Jesus armor, and you're like,
damn man,
$30.
Yeah. Well, that's why I hated it when they introduced it in fucking World of Warcraft, right? Because I was just you should be content with my $15 a month and the cool shit I should have to earn. But, I can't, but every time I think of spending money on one of those games outside of a really small cosmetic, I turn around and there's Saber holding her fucking sword in my mouth being no, you gotta pay for God's shit.
Buy it.
That banner's coming soon. Don't you fucking touch that buy button.
Well,
we're gonna play Deep Rock Galactic now.
That's true.
I'm happy now.
It's happening. Well, not right now, but yeah.
No, not right this second. You will like it. I swear you will.
Up for the debate.
I don't care if you like it.
Well, I guess I don't have to go buy it then.
Edwin, every time I'm you'll like it, you'll come back to me and be like, I didn't like it. Be like, all right, I'm done trying at this point.
I haven't even tried it. I don't even think I've even seen it.
I don't really like rocks that are deep and galactic.
Y'all are shitting on caves. Y'all are gonna like caves after this. I swear to God. The first time
you're digging a hole in my backyard.
The first time you're gonna be in that cave and it's gonna start raining. You're gonna be like, "Why is there cave rain?" I'm like, "Shut up and dig." There's cave rain. Deal with it.
We got to find shiny rocks. You're deep in this cave that's galactic.
When the caves, the deep rocks aren't galactic. I know you don't really partake in modern gaming too much, Jordan, but like, has there been any? I mean, you said you did play Ghost of Tsushima, though, right? You were just telling me to play that, right?
I fucking love that game. Yeah.
So you do play some modern games, right? I know you're usually playing retro stuff, but I mean, is there anything modern wise that you like playing or want to play?
Ghost of Tsushima. I will play it again.
All right, now you can't play. Now you can't say it's Ghost of Tsushima. Try again.
Anything like new, I suppose, that's coming or whatever.
Well, I mean, I like anything new that Corey was just talking about. Oh, we talked about yesterday was that blue something. I can't remember. It was on Steam. It's an RPG.
Grand Blue Fantasy.
Yeah, that looks really cool. The style and it's cell shaded. It looked pretty cool, but then again, like, you can be fooled, so I don't know what to expect. That would probably
There's
be
a
my next
demo for that game.
Is there?
There's a demo of that game.
Is that the one that you and me played, Corey? That one? The Grand Blue Fantasy, where you play it as, like, one of the characters is the pink-haired lady with horns and a katana and the big titties? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Okay.
Yeah. Nailed that description.
Well, you knew who I was talking about, didn't you? So there you go.
Yeah, because there's two of them. Because one of them is a fighting game, and one of them is actually like an adventure game that plays like a Tales of.
It almost played like fucking Monster Hunter. At least that's how the demo kind of put it out.
Yeah,
as.
the fight scenes are pretty. They're pretty fun. Like I enjoyed playing it. It just was something that like I kind of just didn't pick up. I can't remember if there was something that came out near it or something, or maybe I was playing Final Fantasy when it came out. But I plan on going back and picking it up at some point, but obviously not right now. I just bought 2 games, so
yeah. There's just so many. There's just so many choices out there now that are basically pitfalls where you just think that it's going to be possibly good, and then you end up buying it, and then it ends up being shit. So it's like I got a lot of hesitation when I'm trying to invest that much money towards a upcoming video game. Like I have to do a lot of research before I feel committed to purchase for it. Like, you know, any of these games, unless like they are remakes of something and they're really going with the original story, maybe change it up a bit, but you really know that they're telling the same exact story basically from the past, then those are basically easy for me to pick. But when they're brand new games, I know nothing about them, it's very difficult for me to want to make that decision. So that's why I've been usually stuck on indie games, because I already have the history of playing them. I just don't recall the full gist of it, so I just basically remind myself when I'm playing it, and then I'm like, oh, okay, that's what it is. Okay, because there's always a lot of left in parts that you just forget over time, and I'm just basically filling in those gaps again.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a lot of indie games that are like not necessarily small studios that I have games coming out that I'm kind of excited about. Like there's Crowsworn, Penny Blood, Armed Fantasia. Penny Blood and Armed Fantasia are the developers that made Wild Arms and Shadow Hearts, and those were like pretty popular like games back in the day. So like having them getting a chance to like, you know, obviously they're not with the other companies anymore, so they get to go and do it again, you know, and it's like I like seeing that at least, you know, instead of watching, like you said earlier, something that you like die slowly in front of you, and it's just kind of like, man.
I mean, that's what it feels like. It feels like a family friend or your dog is just like, you just see him run over in the street and you're like, oh.
Yeah. No, don't. Yeah.
Well, I just like the Japanese video games, like a lot of those story-driven games, or just the action ones, like the Yakuza series. Like I was really into.
Oh, Yakuza's fun.
I was just into them because there's a lot of comedy, yet they always have that serious side of them. So it's like you're on the spot, but then they kind of just like throw in a little bit of comedy here and there, just random shit. And those are the type of things that I was like really into, and that's why I kind of like stayed on that type of style when it's either coming from Japan. It's like usually U.S. made. There's no jokes, no nothing. It's just really serious and heavy. So it's like I do fall into those categories too. You know, Mass Effect is definitely one of those great series that I just could not put down until we all know what
Andromeda.
Yeah,
Andromeda.
And I put that bitch right back. I was just like, no.
Yeah,
but yeah, like those type of games, those are really strong for me. I really do dig them. But I don't know when there's going to be anything like that, I guess, good that will be anytime soon that I'm aware of, unless you guys know. I just haven't found anything like that.
I mean, honestly, when I can't even think of like the last, even stuff that I wouldn't even consider good. Like last time, like a new IP or a new game came out that like was strong enough to warrant a sequel. I guess. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind was Splatoon, but that was a long time ago. That was like Nintendo's new IP, but that was good enough to spawn 2 more sequels. I can't even think of anything that comes out from a Western market nowadays that isn't, number one, isn't an indie game, and number two, isn't just a remake or a sequel of something that came out in like the golden age of gaming. That's like new and like carrying forward. Even Ghost of Tsushima, but even then, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I heard that was a Western studio. I don't even know if that was a Japanese studio or not.
It was Santa Monica or something.
Yeah.
Or
was it Santa?
No, I don't know.
Monica? Well, that explains it. If it is Santa Monica,
no, I think it's Sucker Punch.
Well, either way, there are diamonds in the rough, as I said, but even then, there's no Ghost of Tsushima 2. I mean, I haven't played the game. Maybe there's no reason to have a second one, but like, I only have ever heard good things about that game, but there isn't a sequel. It's just that, you know?
Yeah, I know they are working on a Ghost of Tsushima 2. There was some DLC, and they're getting a TV show or a movie or something.
And now we've crossed the line. Now we've gone too far.
Well, it's that's that weird stuff too. Like a lot of these people that make like a game, you know, like Last of Us. It's like I really enjoyed playing Last of Us. Like the gameplay is like really cool, but then
the sequel came out and I wanted to kill myself.
Yeah, and I know they're making a third one, but it's like,
oh god,
I don't care. Like I don't really care. Is Ellie gonna die now? Because that'll be fine. I just end it. You know, it's weird though, because it's like they're making these games. They're trying to make like some of them that are like really focused towards the players that they know are gonna play the game. But they end up killing them somehow because they're like, and this probably comes from upper management where they're told like, hey, you got to make sure to add that stupid gotcha mechanic here, that, you know, it's maybe this will be the next MMO or the next MLG game or what. And it's like, this was a single player game and now it has all these weird, stupid, like multiplayer things attached to it. It's kind of like that era of Xbox 360 where like every sequel game had a team deathmatch mode, and it's like they're doing it again because they're trying to become like super popular. Like, here's our game, but it has a battle royale mode. Last of Us 2 was supposed to have an online mode, and then they removed it from the game, and then they came out and said it's actually because it's such a cool thing that it's going to be its own game for $40. And it's like, oh, you wanted me to pay for it, got it. And then they canceled
Overwatch.
Yeah, then they canceled it anyways. But it was like some like roguelike survival game in the world of Last of Us, and it seemed like a cool idea, but like Uncharted had multiplayer, and I thought it was fun to play, but I wouldn't go back to it because I would just play Call of Duty.
I mean, remember I was telling you the other night I was watching Did You Know Gaming on YouTube. Everyone knows Did You Know Gaming. They have really cool facts about video games, and they're also really easy to fall asleep to. But I was listening to like Lost video games essentially, and the gist of the episode was like talking about how Vicarious Visions, who the people that made the Crash Bandicoot remake, the Insane trilogy, they made that and it did really well, and then they wanted to keep making newer games, but then like Activision, who owns them, Activision Blizzard, was like basically just going to have them do support work on both Call of Duty and Destiny, because that's all they wanted to do, because that's where the money was. But they wanted to make new, like the brothers, I guess, who founded the company wanted to make new games, so they left because they didn't want to do that. And so that left the company by itself, and the people who stayed, they still wanted to make new games, and they wanted to do like maybe another remake project, or because it's more cost effective because you're not making something from the ground up. They had like I guess they were formulating like a demo trying to like do like a new sequel to Spyro or something, and how they had it up was like Spyro was like an adult dragon, and I mean I'm just talking about this from this episode. Whether or not any of this is real doesn't matter, but the point is what I'm going to get to. Spyro was like an adult, and you would make your dragon, customize your dragon, put wings, horns, colors, all this crazy shit. and Spyro would train you how to be a dragon, and then it's co-op multiplayer, explore the world of dragon stuff, and then specifically because they needed to try to appeal to Activision and their greedy asses, they tried to like make it to where it's like, oh, it's going to be a live service battle pass system, and I'm just like, end of the story is that obviously didn't come to be because this was a long time ago, and Activision was kind of interested, but they never went for it. But I was like, man, could you imagine the world where they came out with Spyro, and now Spyro the fucking Dragon is the fucking live service battle pass game? Like, are you fucking shitting me? I understand those people did it to try to specifically appeal to Activision. You know, bless their hearts. I know they just wanted to make a game, but they had to do that greedy shit to, you know, appeal to that fucking shitty company. But goddamn, could you imagine if that came out? Because that would have fucking read over really well.
I think the Spyro license is now in Toys for Bob. I think they now have the license over Spyro entirely.
Oh yeah, well, I mean they were the ones who made the remake, anyways. So I think they were right. I think that's what they were.
Yeah,
but
yeah, that was a fire remake. I loved it. They completed
Didn't
that whole
Toys
shit.
for Bob close?
I think so, actually. Yeah, I think they're done. Yay!
Yeah, they released. Yeah, I think they released the Spyro thing, and then like Activision's like, well, we're shutting you down.
Yeah. All right. Good job. Close shop. Go work on Destiny and Call of Duty because we only care about money. Like, great. I just want video games. I just want video games to be video games again, man. I'm so sick of this crap. Yeah. And I can hear people being like, well, you play Fortnite. I'm like, yeah, I play Fortnite. I never said I don't have vices. I play gacha games too. I have sinned. Sorry. Everyone does, but I feel it harder with franchises I give two shits about. If fucking Fortnite shit the bed tomorrow, I just drop it and be like, all right, whatever, I don't care.
I'd be like, wow, whatever. That took a while.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I don't know. It's like, yes, I understand.
I mean, I kind of feel like it's coming, not to like extend this out anymore, but I feel like that's the Fortnite shitting the bed thing. When they added like that partnership with Disney, I was like, uh-oh, here you go. And then they were like, and then we have racing because we partnered with Rocket League, and we have this Guitar Hero mode, and then like, oh, you guys are doing the thing. You're doing the thing because you're realizing that the player base for the single thing was starting to dwindle. But they want it to be like an every game, and it's like
they want it to be Roblox.
Yeah, it's like this is when like you'll probably still have a steady player base, but it's like it's not going to get everybody to stop playing. Like they're not going to have like a Final Fantasy mode in Fortnite for me to play Final Fantasy. It's just like
there's games. Cybertruck.
Yeah, there's
Tesla Cybertruck.
There's things that I like playing that you're just not going to be able to put in this game. So there's no way that you're ever going to be able to pull me away from everything, and to just focus fire on one product. And I've still played Fortnite this long, and I have not given them any money.
I mean, I won't lie, I have, but it's only because I wanted fucking weeby anime skins. But at the same time, it's like, when we say we play Fortnite, we are specifically talking about we play the zero build mode. That's it. That's the only thing I play. I don't touch the ADD regular mode. Like, I can't do it. I don't have the skills for that or anything else. I don't touch any of the custom modes. I just play zero build. That's it.
And that being said, I haven't played Fortnite in like maybe 2 months. I turned it on the other day to see if the car thing was done because I was like, I'm waiting for that to just go down.
Yeah, it's the 15th. I played it a few. I just got enough through the battle pass where I got what I wanted, and now I'm done. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm just waiting for the next season to roll around.
That car mode is so dumb when you're playing, like, you know, if you're just running a solo round.
Yeah, solo it's terrible.
Because I'm like, oh, cool. I can't do anything. I can't shoot the gun or any of that shit. So all it turns into in the end of the game is just people in cars driving around the final circle, and it's like, great. And then they nerf the boxing gloves or whatever because people were bitching.
Or they do the Pirates of the Caribbean with the fucking ghost ship. Yeah. And they ghost ship you, and they just throw a giant boat at your ass, and you die.
There's that.
Well, at least I like it because that's funny. I at least like Fortnite because they do crazy shit like that. They're just like, let's just fucking. Well, I mean, quite frankly, that's kind of why I like Fortnite. I think they do fun shit like that. It's like, you know, what'd be funny? It's like what? It's like add a giant Cybertron cannon that just blows the hell out of everything. It's like, oh, cool, that sounds fun. It's like, let's add the Stinger missile from Solid Snake. Let's add lightsabers. Let's add fucking, the hollow purple from Jujutsu Kaisen that just blows everything away and fucking All Might smash and shit. I like the great, it's just fun crap like that. It's not all serious. I don't know. It's not all just basic.
And the thing that bothers me is just like it's just so seasonal. So it's just like you have all this stuff in the pool of licenses to use all that stuff, but it's just like you only get to see like one of them, or like maybe two of them once a year out of that giant pool.
It does kind of keep the game fresh where they rotate shit in and out, because if they kept everything in all the time, then the game truly would be just chaos all the time. Like, it would just be insane. But it also works against it, because like when they did the Fortnite, like, I don't know, what was it called? Like when they went back to like season 1 or whatever. Mode. I never touched it the entire season because I didn't give two shits about it.
I just like the airplanes because I like the
those were fun. Thing. Yeah, those were fun.
Yeah, but it's I like that part, but it's just this season I was like, okay, I got enough of the car stuff. That was funny playing it like with you guys, but I can't play the game by myself, so I'm just because I'll turn it on and like do a round before work or something, or like when I get home or whatever.
Yeah,
and I can't just burn around on that because it's just not made for that. So
yeah, I'll just run around solo. I'll just run around solo and just do a bunch of fucking quests or something really fast just to get some quick experience.
Yeah, I probably should do that too, so I don't waste my stupid Battle Pass coins, so I can get all of them back.
And that being said, like I said, fucking Fortnite could crash and burn tomorrow, just randomly be Thanos snapped out of existence, and I just wouldn't care. Just like, whatever, it's gone. Just move on to better games. It's literally just filler game. I don't really give two shits about Fortnite in the long run, to be honest.
Yeah, it's literally like the McDonald's of gaming.
Exactly. I acknowledge it. I don't hold up Fortnite and be like, this is the standard. It's like, this is the bare minimum. This is okay.
This is a 10-piece nugget.
Yeah, 10-piece nugget.
It'll hold me over.
What is most likely food?
While I'm waiting for my game to get shipped here or download, I'm going to play this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, yeah.
But yeah, modern gaming. Games. A brief history into our look at games. I mean, it feels like everyone started with Nintendo, then hated themselves with competitive, and then now hate everything. Except for small things.
Yeah, and I mean, we could do a console wars episode or something, so it doesn't extend this out that long, but I could go on some tirades about all of that shit. But yeah.
What, about the console wars themselves, or just like what you liked and didn't like about consoles?
Well, no, I mean like the console wars of like how there was just fan bases that just wouldn't, like, I did not want to touch a Sega because I was like, Sega is Sega, you know. And
Sega's evil.
And I like really hated Xbox as well because I was like, I'm a PlayStation fanboy, but then like the 360 came out and I was tired of waiting for the PS3, and there was cool looking games on the next gen console, so I went out and bought a 360, and I got Enchanted Arms and Phantasy Star Universe and Condemned or whatever, and was like, this is fucking cool.
It's funny because I never really I never really understood it, to be honest with you. I never really participated in the console wars. I wasn't on the front lines.
Yeah, it's like I don't know why I even had that mindset, you know. It's like because I have a Nintendo at home and somebody has a Sega, and I'm just like, Sonic is so stupid, and it's just like, it's probably because I just didn't have one and I wasn't ever going to get one, and that's probably because my parents were like, you know, you have a Super Nintendo at home, you don't need a Sega because you already can play video games, why do I need that one, you know? And that's probably why it was viewed that way, but I don't know, it was just like I never I'm going back and getting Sega games now, but like I just never had one growing up, and I like friends in the neighborhood had one, so I'd play like Mortal Kombat 2 or Vector Man or something over there, but I don't know why, because they would be the same way, but towards Nintendo, like they wouldn't want a Super Nintendo because they have a Sega Genesis, and it's like, okay.
You don't want the thing you own to be the inferior product. It's basically what it is. Yeah, so it's like, we got to put everything else down.
Like, I can't trade games with them or borrow a game because, like, we don't have the same systems. So, like, that was the big deal, right? Is like, oh, you know, hey, I'll bring the cartridge and let you borrow it at school, and then you bring it back when you're done, or whatever. And so, like, if they had a Sega and I can't borrow their games, I can't play them. I didn't have a Dreamcast until recently. Now I got 3 Dreamcasts somehow. I don't even know where they came from. Oh, I know where one came from, but I don't know the other 2. And then I got 3 64s. I'm just chilling. And it's just like I got consoles now that I've been acquiring, for my collection and stuff. And it's like an entire library of games that I missed out on because I hated Sega, and it's like nice to get to go back to do those things.
I mean, I just always wanted to play everything. I just wasn't able to. So up until adulthood, I had to like choose because I went from like all handhelds. I was just a Game Boy kid, Game Boy into the DS, and then I got a GameCube and then a Wii. Because it's like if I had to choose one, I guess I'm choosing Nintendo products because that to me that has like the best games on it. And then I got a 360, and then opened my eyes to multiplayer stuff. And because money's still an issue, and you had to subscribe to Xbox Live and stuff, it's like I'm just gonna play Xbox. I don't want to touch PlayStation, but I really like the PS2. PS2 was great. I had a PS2 and then I had a 360. Never touched the PS3. And then Xbox One comes out. I got a PS4 first, and then all my friends got Xboxes, so I had to go back and get an Xbox so I could play with them. And then I had a fucking after that I got Xbox Series X, and now I have everything. I hate having to miss out on shit. I like because all the really not all of them, but a bunch of really good games are console exclusive. So now I have the Series X, the PS5, the Switch. I have a gaming computer. I have I have access to anything. I just want to be able to play anything that comes out. I want to be able to play it in some way, shape, or form. And then I have my pile of retro consoles that I'm going back and acquiring now. The only ones I kept were my Nintendo ones, and I got 3 GameCubes over there, all of them broken. I have to go get them fixed because all their fucking disc readers went out. Fucking, I got a PS1, I got a PS2, I got SNES, got a 64. I need to get a PS3 at some point. My PS4 is over there. I still have my Xbox 360s. Like, I just want to be able to play everything. I just never really cared to be like, oh, your thing sucks, mine's good. I'm just like, man, I wish I had your thing so I could play Jack and Daxter, but I'm over here and I gotta play fucking Battlefront or whatever. Fucking
if you
Mario.
Get the original PS3 Fat because that's the one that's backwards compatible to PS1 and PS2. The newer ones are only backwards compatible to PS1.
Here's the thing, though, is that I have tried to ask, but like I don't know how much the validity there is to this, but I asked one of the 2 retro stores I go to around here because I live in the middle of fucking ass into nowhere. They actually don't even sell they will not sell PS3 Fats because like how yours did, they have a tendency to die a lot. So I'm not even like, as long as I have a PS2, I'm good. So if I get a PS3, like I'm probably just going to pick a regular one up because that's probably the biggest library of games I missed out on was the PS3, even more so than like the PS1. Like PS3 I barely even like acknowledged because I was just all 360, all Halo all the time. And so I just never really thought about a PS3. I had one, but then it got stolen after like a month of having it. And it got stolen. I was like, oh no. Whatever.
I literally have a PS3 that I only bought specifically because I wanted to play Infamous and the remake of the Kingdom Hearts series. That's the only reason I got it.
I mean,
so,
PlayStation has that kind of library when I walk around the retro stores and I just look at them. I'm like, look at all this anime shit that I have no idea what it is. I want to play it. Like, look at all this crazy shit. I have no idea what it is. So, I mean, I've never subscribed to the fucking console wars. I just want to play everything. If I had something, if I didn't have something, I just wanted it because I just wanted to be able to play whatever games I couldn't play here, over there. So I'm in a happy place now where I have access to everything, but everything sucks. So I have access to all these things, but I don't want to play any of them. just go play the retro fucking systems all the time now.
It's like now that you have everything, now everything sucks.
Well, it's that stupid saying, right? It's just like, well, in the future you'll have all the money to buy all the games you want, but no time to play any of them. But yeah. Unless anyone else wants to share anything with their gaming history, I think we could wrap it up now. I think, right?
Yeah, I'm good. You got trivia?
Yes, I do. I got 3 quick questions.
All right.
Faster.
All right.
Hurry up.
All right. So the first one. In Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, what is the name of the boss fighter when you battle at a legendary sniper in the forest? Is it A, the Fury, B, the End, C, the Pain, or D, the Fear?
Question, does he actually eat a snake?
Yes.
Yes, he does. And you can actually blow up...
You can eat anything, really.
Alligators.
Your character gets hungry, so you have to kill animals and
eat them.
Eat them.
I think I learned...
The End. The End?
Then I learned this the other night, isn't it the Fury?
No, that's a different boss that my gamer tag's from.
Oh,
okay.
That's
what I was going to ask.
Oh, I'll go with Corey on that one.
I think it's the End.
The End.
The answer is the end.
Yeah.
What a
old
badass,
man.
edgy name for a sniper, right? Sniper dude. Oh, that's why it sounds familiar. Weren't you saying that was the guy where if you like fast forward it, the PlayStation
dies of old age.
Dies of old age.
dies of old age? Oh, I remember now. Okay, that's why it sounded familiar.
All right, and question number 2. In Resident Evil 3, what is the name of the experimental virus that created the Nemesis T-type in Resident Evil 3? Was it A, the T virus, B, the G virus, C, the NET virus, or D, the C virus?
I'm going to say the
G
NET.
virus?
Yeah, wasn't it the G? I mean, I feel like the obvious answer is the T virus, but I feel like it's so obvious I don't want to say that, so I'll say G.
Yeah,
I feel like
I think 3 was G because that's all the doctor kept talking about. The G virus is mine.
The answer, the answer was the NET virus.
I was right. No, I changed my answer because you guys both picked G, and now I'm wrong too.
Don't copy other people's work, then, dumbass.
I just feel like the G virus was the one from Resident Evil 4.
If there's
Oh
something
no, the
that-
G virus was Resident Evil 2. That's what it was. But it's like
I don't
Resident Evil
fucking-
2 and 3 take place in the exact same time. So
There's so many fucking viruses and their acronyms and shit. If there's something I've learned about multiple choice, that always go with your first answer.
Just don't play with viruses.
I never even heard of the NTE virus. So my Resident
It's
Evil.
the
4 is not
NET
that good.
because it's the Nemesis. So
All
Wouldn't
right.
it be why is it? Wait, hold on. If it's NET, why would that be Nemesis? Shouldn't it be NEM?
well, it's also like a spin-off of the T virus because it's a more like potent version.
Oh, so it's like Nemesis T. Okay, whatever.
All right.
Stupid naming conventions.
It's a coronavirus. There.
Okay. The third and final question. Which character in Street Fighter 2 is known for their signature move, the Sonic Boom? Is it A, M. Bison, B, Dhalsim, C, Guile, or D, Zangief?
Guile.
Sonic Boom.
Sonic Boom.
Answer is Guile.
I know that because of
Say
Smash
that.
Brothers. Sonic Boom.
All right.
It does have a catchy ass
Funny
theme.
show.
Hey, this is Corey, and thanks for checking out Mediocre Rumble Brothers. If you liked the video, please drop a like, and if you didn't, that's fine too. If you'd like us to talk about any specific games, drop a comment below, or feel free to discuss your experience with the games that we've mentioned in the episode. You can also listen to our episodes prior to YouTube on our Spotify. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you again soon.